Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live and back at it again, folks. It's a feel-good Friday night, and we got WWE Smackdown on tap tonight, plus a little bit of Rampage. It's going to be a fun one here in the channel and on the chat. So get in there, click all the buttons, like, share, subscribe, do all the fun stuff. But, folks, strap in, strap on, grab your snacks, grab your feel-good, and let's go. Ding, ding, ding. We're live and back at it again, folks. Like I said, we are the Wrestling for Life Network, and this is another live stream. Happy Friday to everyone out there. You put another week in the books. We're going to cap it off with a little bit of WWE Smackdown as we get closer and closer to Bad Blood. Lots to figure out tonight. Lots going on. Aldis making announcements, plus a bunch of good matches set for tonight. Should be a fun one, so get in that chat. Don't be quiet. Don't be shy. Let us know what's on your wrestling mind, as me and that pretty face run you through the next couple hours of wrestling coverage. We will be your live reaction to all the action. And I will remind you, I am Mr. Evernight KJ White, the Iron Man of YouTube. That is Big Nick.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Wrestling for Life Network proudly brings to you its YouTube tag stream champions of the world, the Every Night Delight KJ White. I am Big Nick. And so, what do you want to talk about? Because my guy, we got so much to talk about.
There's so much to unpack here, Nick. I mean, I don't know if you want to start with free agents or free agent rumors or stories, or if we want to talk about tonight's card first. But there is a plethora of things to dive into in the IWC in the wrestling world as we head into this show tonight. I mean, some big stories. I mean, we talked about the rumors of the vignette that happened on Monday. It now looks like it might be the War Raiders. So we'll see. You know, rumors out there that Ray Phoenix is going to be held for a year from jumping ship, and Malachi Black apparently in the same boat. Miro wants a release. People are starting to jump off Noah's Ark.
Yeah, well, and how do you feel about this? Because I have opinions of the whole Tony. There, you get one side that thinks Tony's being vicious and vindictive and everything like that, with now, you know, adding injury time onto contracts. Like you said, it could be up to a year with Phoenix. We don't know how long potentially with Malachi. We don't know if he's going to grant Miro's release, what have you. But you also have the other side that said you wanted Tony to put his foot down on people. Now he's kind of doing it. So you kind of can't say the same thing. But these are also the same people that hated it when WWE did this.
That's the thing is I've said it multiple times, and for my money and my honest opinion is that with each passing day, I believe that Tony Khan is becoming more and more like Vince McMahon and less like the Tony Khan he was supposed to be. Like, this was the guy that was all about, we just want everyone to enjoy it and be happy and kumbaya. Listen, you signed a contract. You're obligated to fulfill that contract. If your owner wants to hold you to it and hold the dates, that's his right to do so. I can't fault him for doing that. It just doesn't feel like the Tony Khan we once knew.
Oh, it certainly doesn't feel like that. I think the whole concept of it, of adding injury time and stuff like that, personally, I think it's just ridiculous on either side. Realistically, I think that they should do away with that whole thing, especially if we're still defending the independent contractors argument, which is Tony's dealing with that legal battle as well. But yeah, it very much is, to me, it's just people keep the same energy. The same people that were mad and hate the fact that WWE did it are now the ones that cheering and saying, well, Tony finally put his foot down, but you want him to be the opposite. So what are we it's constantly just keep the same energy with this whole conversation is what I want.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's the double standard. I think you used the term on multiple occasions of the goalpost moving, right? And I mean, again, if this was the other way around, and when it was the other way around, you know, when the WWE was less inclined to let somebody, they'd rather them sit at home and wait out their 90 days and all this fun stuff, it was heavily criticized. And that's fine. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it, but you can't like it now. It's a bit of a double standard. But ultimately, whether it's now, next year, it just feels like more and more stories are coming out of people that want to get away. And that it would be my biggest concern as an AEW fan.
Well, and especially when it's prominent guys. This isn't, Fuego del Sol, no offense. This
Right.
isn't a Kip Sabian, no offense. This is the Lucha Bros. Want to say thanks, but no thanks. Malachi Black, thanks, but no thanks. Buddy Matthews allegedly was pretty much in that same boat, and then Tony pretty much made him renew his contract. Miro has been thanks, but no thanks. I'm waiting for somebody like a Wardlow to pop up and say thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, we're waiting that out. I mean, with the talent like Wardlow, Ricky Starks that weren't injured, so they're not missing.
Starks is another one, 100%. And you're seeing talent that are free agents that could go there saying thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, it's very interesting how the times have changed. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I think that again, you sign a contract, you're obligated to honor that contract. It's just so funny. It's just such a change in the dynamic. But I mean, you're only delaying the inevitable. And again, I think you've said it multiple times where it feels like WCW in the sense of like, now we got all these guys. Now none of these guys want to be here. Now they're trying to get out of their contracts. And then, who's the next Sean Waltman to pop up and cut a promo, in the wrong direction. So, I mean, it's very interesting times. And yeah, people are going to point out, well, they got this guy and they got that guy. I'm not saying they don't still have some pull. But again, picking up, even if picking up MVP or Bobby Lashley, these are guys that have been kind of pushed out or kind of.
And there's still the case that WWE could have done the whole injury extension with Bobby Lashley, and Bobby Lashley wouldn't have still been a free agent. So it's a slippery game. I think the whole just do away with it. You want to say they're independent contractors, then when their contract's up, their contract's up. Not this adding time shit, this contract tampering, which again only exists in professional sports for anyone wondering. It's not an actual legal fucking thing. But yeah, just let them do it. If the contract's up, the contract's up. But sorry, I was going off on a tangent.
Yeah, no, not at all. And I mean, again, I think that's again, it's well within their rights. I like the whole banner about it. I think if there's anything to be taken away from it, is again, I think there's just a little bit of a double standard by certain fans. And I mean, I think it comes down to the same thing about match quality or overall show. Like, again, we could have a really good wrestling match, but if it's got the wrong 3 letters in front of it, the match sucks. And we see it all the time, and it's frustrating. Or, if you're looking for a specific thing and you're not getting it, like, I don't know, man. I mean, again, times are very, very interesting for AEW. I really am a little nervous because even if you do get this TV rights deal, which still hasn't been announced, maybe they're waiting for the 5-year anniversary next week. I don't know. But you get a new TV deal and you start losing stars, now you got a bigger problem. We already saw it the last couple of weeks. You're relying on Jericho, Orange Cassidy, the Young Bucks. Moxley, I'll give him credit because he's pulling weight. Danielson's the champ, great. But I mean, next week we're getting Ricochet and Ospreay on the 5-year anniversary, but has it been hyped up to a fever pitch? No, just they did some stuff once upon a time, not in this company. So y'all should be excited that we booked it.
Well, they did also do a YouTube thing earlier today. I didn't catch any of it, but they sat down with Renee Moxley Good to go into it. But I thought it was funny that's 2 guys that weren't here at all, haven't spent much time in AEW, that are the figurehead for the 5-year anniversary. Where's your Hangmans? Where's your Kenny Omegas? Where are your guys that were there from the start?
Is there any news at all on Kenny?
Last I know, no. Which is probably the best thing at this point. Of no news is good news.
Fair enough.
But
go ahead.
I was going to switch to, since we are going Smackdown and everything like that, I was going to mention the WWE news that we didn't get a chance to talk about yesterday because we were doing the 2-part special and everything, the review for the McMahon documentary. But SummerSlam 2025, 2 nights and in New Jersey.
Yes. So they're going to make it a 2-night event. We already knew Minnesota was getting a 2-night event to say sorry about your luck when it came to Mania. But here we go. Trips. And again, they have no problem doing it. They're doing stadiums, and they know they're going to get 100,000 people through the door. It's crazy, man. I mean, I never thought I'd see it in my lifetime. I haven't been the biggest advocate of 2-night events because I feel like it's a lot. And I like when the event feels a little special,
right?
But if you can do it, Do it. I mean, the pressure's on. Trips, you got to be able to book it. You got to be able to fill that stadium twice. You got to give a good reason for people to buy the tickets, but they won't have any problems. Like, they won't. We saw it at Mania. We'll see it, next Mania. We'll see it at SummerSlam. I mean, they're going to MetLife Stadium.
MetLife Stadium, yes.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, and that's another NFL stadium as well, much like the SummerSlam that they did this year. And it's becoming like mid-year mania a bit.
Yep.
They do Mania in April and they'll do mid-year Mania in August.
Yeah.
I was surprised with it though too, because I kept thinking that WWE was going to go over to the UK sometime next year with one of their big ones, and that's why Forbidden Door was over somewhere in London, but not at Wembley, and All In was moving to Texas. But I still think go ahead.
Yeah, I just think that remains to be seen. I mean, there's still other shows in it. Maybe they get a Survivor Series. Maybe they get. I don't. I know what's there. I'm looking forward though. I still think that WrestleMania 42 is going to be in London.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to try it. I think they're bold enough to try it with this regime that's running things right now. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that they're going to go back. This has been a very heavy international year. So maybe they run some more domestic next, like going into 25, and then 26, they go a little more international again. I'm curious.
Yeah, well, and they can have that actual balance out with it and everything too. Of now that the US crowds have actually noticed, hey, if we want these big shows over here, we got to actually show up and show out. And I do like at least that they're going to the 2-night thing. I know, like you were even talking about, of you really got to deliver on this, Hunter. Now, if you're going to sit there and try and make it a 2-night event versus it was already a stretch to some people when Mania went 2 nights.
Yeah.
I think that they're, with being able to still do the shows that they do now with having 5 matches, 6 matches, and we're wishing for more to get added, that's what helps them with doing, I think, the 2 nights. They'll still only do probably 12 matches, but they'll make it 2 nights.
Yeah, I think they'll like you said, they'll make it the biggest party of the summer. They'll make a big deal about it, a big deal about it. There'll be a lot of hoopla, and again, for the fans, they're going to stack it up. They're going to want it to be special. They're going to want it to feel like, like you said, a mini Mania or Mania Part 2. So again, as a fan, content is king, and they're ready to give us more content. I'll be curious, do they try this with any of the other 2, the remaining 2 major fours?
Yeah, I think you slow play this a little bit. Like, how long has Mania been 2 nights now? And now we're first getting the first one beyond Mania that's 2 nights.
Yeah. And it's funny, in my head, I mean, I think there's an opportunity. I think Rumble fits very well for a 2-night show, because you do the women's Rumble.
Do one Rumble a night, yeah.
Yeah, right? So that one, I was like, okay, that would make a little sense. But again, I think you're right. Like, and we've talked about this within the WWE, but also within other companies, is take your time, patience. Don't rush it. Make sure you have the infrastructure. Make sure you feel confident that you can support it. Don't just start booking shows. Don't start adding content that you can't keep up with.
Right, Chris. We know that just doing what we do, of you ease into stuff. You don't sit there and just cannonball, and then you find out it's all ice.
100%, 100%. But a lot going on here tonight as well, Nick. Cody Rhodes is in the building as Nick Aldis. If for those who don't know, Nick Aldis came out, said next week is, I guess, in Aldis's hometown. I know not his birthplace, but where he lives.
Nashville, because that's where Mickey lives. Yeah.
That makes sense. But yeah, so we're going to get a triple threat world tag team title match, ladder match for the titles. I think that's crazy. They announced that a week out. So that should be fun. DIY, the Bloodline, and the Street Profits should be a banger.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think it helps, especially with that being right before Bad Blood. It kind of more evens the playing field, you feel, a little bit when it goes into Roman and Cody, because Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa are going to have to be coming off of a ladder match and everything. So
fair enough. Yeah,
they're essentially, you're just getting down to, they may not be out at ringside here. Which, do we want to get into the whole conversation? We want to say hi to the people as well, but the conversation as to what should be the main event.
We can talk about that. I mean, it's a silly conversation. We talked about it the other night when we were here. And again, I don't mean it's silly for us to discuss out loud, but again, I just find that there is a contingent of wrestling fans that just find like the shit in everything. Like the glass is always half empty, no matter what is happening. Why? Like, why is this such a point of anger and disappointment? Or like, shut up, you spoiled brats.
Well, when we still don't even truly know what the main event is going to be,
No.
so you're getting upset about nothing.
And yeah, when we don't know how it's all going to transpire, like again, the Hell in a Cell is a big deal. It's going to be fun, but I've watched pay-per-views where there was a cage match in the middle of the show and a world title match an hour later. It's not the first time. It won't be the last time.
It's a first world problem to have. It's that cup
Yeah.
runneth over, and you're mad about the shit that spilled.
Yeah, and we go back and you talk about like where, you know, we just watched it with the Vince documentary when WWE's clicking on all cylinders and 10 million people and they're outdoing, you know, Monday Night Football. And, you know, you got Stone Cold and whoever, you know, and they're not the main event at this time because at that time, The Rock was in an angle with Triple H or Mankind and The Rock were a mid card and Austin and Triple H were the main. Like, like I don't remember sitting around with my friends going, "This is fucking stupid. Why didn't Jericho go last?" Like, it's a real modern day fucking like bratty fucking boo hooey thing that people kind of over focus on.
Well, I think it's still with getting into certain instances of you want still the best match, you want the best thing to end the show and everything like that. I think in a situation like this where you have so much of a good thing for it to be an issue's ridiculous in that sense because everything's good. Like you were saying though, of when you've got like Rock versus Triple H for the IC belt because Taker and Austin are in the main event for the world title. That's not a bad thing. That's, you know, that cup runneth over.
Yeah, like nobody was like sending emails or in chat room boards going like, "This fucking bullshit. I can't believe." Like, you know, like just enjoy.
Did
like,
you see the work rate between Hunter and Dwayne? They should have gone to main event.
And I mean, at the end of the day, man, Cody's your Universal Champion. Roman's the biggest draw in the industry in the last 5 years. They're going last, and we don't know how it plays out. Like, all right, you know, what do you do? Cody and Roman go second last, and then say Jimmy comes back, say Paul comes back, say there's a whole out Samoan fucking brawl that tears up the arena, and then you follow it with the Hell in the Cell. Might not be the best decision, but we're preemptively pissed off, and it doesn't matter if they had announced Hell in the Cell was going last. The same people bitching right now would start bitching about, "Oh, well, it should be the tag match." Like, you can't win. You can't win for losing. Triple H has mentioned it many times on media scrums. Just tweet about it. Suck it up. Boo-hoo. Like, I don't know.
I'm going to send a tweet. I'm going to write it on a message board.
Right. Same thing with the fucking dealing with losers online. Oh, they're ruining MCMG. They're going NXT. They signed the fucking contract. They chose it. Get your head out of your
let's get to people that chose to be winners and chose to be here with us and everything before we have a cornea out here.
Right. I think the Bloodline win at Rocco. Good to see ya. Bad blood due to Roman and Cody's miscommunication, or maybe a new debut of a Bloodline member plus Crown Jewel will be Cody and Roman 3. I do not believe that Cody Roman 3 will be at Crown Jewel. I do not believe that at all. I don't think Cody and Roman are going to go anywhere near each other for quite a while, guys. Roman after Bad Blood will be highly tied to this whole Bloodline storyline. I actually think that KO could be the reason why Roman and Cody lose at Bad Blood, but I do believe that Cody and Roman are going to lose at Bad Blood. Maybe it's Randy, maybe it's KO, maybe it's a new member of the Bloodline. Bloodline gets the first win. They draw the first blood, and that's where we get part of like the comeback.
Yeah, Roman's looked dominant throughout this whole thing so far. He hasn't really gotten, you know, worked over in this, so he really needs to. It's going to do the Bloodline, it's going to do Solo and Jacob much better for them to go over in this match.
Yeah, they need a win. And like you said, Roman's looked like a badass. The hero needs to be knocked down. He's got to look a little desperate. He needs help. He needs his friends.
Right.
And we all believe that this is all building towards Vancouver. It's all building towards War Games. So, again, I mean, very interesting, but.
Sorry, they just announced, or what I just saw is, so Randy Orton's kicking off SmackDown tonight.
Oh, interesting. Thoughts?
Well, since you mentioned Kevin Owens real quick, that I think Randy's the one turning Kevin Owens. This is just a weapon of mass distraction of everybody's expecting KO to do it, and they don't see the Viper coming.
Man, I don't know. I feel like I mean, I was kind of unsure for a while. It just feels like it's starting to bubble a little. So I'm curious if they lean into it, but we'll see. We'll see. Because like I said, there might be a little bit of issue with a heel Kevin Owens at this point. Well, but I don't know. Coming soon, MJF versus Happy Gilmore. That was announced today that
Shoot him again.
Right, MJF has been cast in Happy Gilmore 2, so that shall be fun. Brandon, good to see you. C Money, welcome back. Looking forward to Andrade the Giant against Carmelo Purple Haze. Should be a banger. Round 6, Nick.
Yeah, we got game 6 where I'm sure we're destined still for game 7 when it comes to this, but this has been a really good feud, like just kind of out of nowhere feud, but a really good back and forth and some really great matches between these two guys. Like, it doesn't feel like it's been 6 matches.
No, and I mean it's been a good rivalry. And because they didn't come out right and say, like, oh, we're gonna have a 7-match series, they had a match, they had some beef, they had another match, they still had some beef, they had another match. Andrade went off, had him, did his own thing for a second, then they found their way back together. It's a nice rivalry, it's a nice build, and I think this has been really good for Carmelo more than anybody because he's a rookie, he's young, he's trying to cut his teeth, he's got to show people he can go. I love what they're doing with Andrade, but this is good for Carmelo's career, and putting him in there with a vet like Andrade has done him well.
I think I agree with you on that, but I also think that I would say this has helped Andrade more than anybody because Andrade was floating kind of there, just doing nothing. And this has come back and established him as a guy that you're challenging for the U.S. title, is believable, could have beat LA Knight and everything.
Absolutely. Kevin, good to see you. Clay Lewis, good to see you. Steve Money got you. Damien got you. Eric, welcome back. Welcome back. Big dog in the house. Steve Chambers, welcome back, sir. Hope you're doing well. Denisha, always a pleasure. Wrestling Proud, welcome, welcome, welcome. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, happy to see you. Happy to see you. Saffet, welcome on back. Trekopedia's with us. Christian Powers with us. John, I see you. Byron, I see you too. Did you see the insane ticket price for Mania in Vegas? Front row, ringside, 50,000 a ticket.
That's the VIP packages and everything that I saw. Like they include like beyond, like this, that, and the third and everything.
Let's simmer it down a little. That's a little crazy. Let's go.
People are going to pay it. People are going to pay it.
Again, and then somebody was bitching about like, oh, the price is here and they priced out the fan base. Well, that's funny. The fucking building was full. The same thing they did in France, sold out. Same thing they did in Germany, sold out. I get it.
I'm not saying go nuts, but still, yeah.
Listen, the problem is as long as you're selling tickets, I wish they were cheaper. I wish I could go to a WWE show for $50, but they charge more and they sell. UFC came to Toronto. It was a fucking arm and a leg to get in the building. I didn't go, but they sold out. What the fuck? I can't argue with them, and they're not going to change their prices for lowly old me. So bring on the pay-per-view.
Right.
Safi, good to see you again. Yes. SummerSlam is going to be a 2-night event. Wonder how long contract Miro, another name guessing, wants to leave. Chambers. The funniest part is what is considered injury time off and what is considered I just didn't want to work. Right? That's going to be the interesting part with Miro and maybe Malachi. Malachi is going to be on Collision tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting how they handle this whole situation, and especially like a guy like you said with Miro of. Was he actually injured, or do you say he was injured because he didn't want to sit there and do a job?
I think it's a little bit. I think he might have been slightly banged up, but I don't think he's interested in playing ball. So,
no.
Again, is that a breach of contract? What does Tony do about that? Does he just let him go? I mean, part of my mindset is if they're a headache, just let him go. If you have the world's best roster in wrestling history, let Miro go. You're not using him. Let him go.
But then we can get into that when we get to Rampage and everything.
Absolutely. But Chambers, we gotcha. Trey's in the house. Welcome on back. Dale the OG, good to see you, buddy. Welcome. Just sad, and it worries me that maybe the report of them being WWE bound freaked Tony out 100%. We know Tony is staring at social media, and we know he operates very reactionary and often from a feared for my life position.
Well, and it's so interesting because this is the first time Tony's really acted like this. If we're having to judge it, and that's the thing is there's no one else in the office or anything that would have made this decision. This is clearly Tony's decision. Um,
Yep.
So for him to go, like you said earlier, much more the WWE style route with this,
Yep.
maybe he's starting to realize there might be a few leaks in that ship.
And I will caution everybody, a lot of these reports are coming from asshole Meltzer who just makes shit up. So again, I know he has a bit of a source with Tony, and Tony leaks information that he wants to get out there, but do be careful when you read. I want, like, again, I would love for the Lucha Bros to show up on Monday or at Bad Blood just to come on here and go, fuck you, Meltzer, all over again, because he's the one saying a lot of this shit.
Fair enough. There's a lot of dirt sheet stuff, just not even with this story exclusively, really come out, and it's, well, I think I heard. We don't sit there and say we're a source on anything. We're giving our opinions, we're giving our takes. We're not saying, well, this is for sure what they're going to do. But to see guys like Meltzer and WrestleVotes, especially, they've been stuck in my fucking craw lately. I'm just constantly sourced about shit when it's all just conjecture, it's all just opinion. And everything is ridiculous to me.
Yeah. And Ringside, who just is an absolute fucking echo of Meltzer. I'd say over half their content is just Meltzer said. Like, when did y'all become Meltzer's puppet? Like, is that like you're just breaking down Meltzer's weekly fucking podcast and Meltzer said, like, great job doing the news, fuckers. Did I miss it? How is Southern Friends doing? The reports we got, at least from Anthony, big shout out and T's and P's to Anthony, who I haven't seen in the chat yet, and maybe I just haven't got to him, but he's doing well. And big shout out to anybody in the South that was dealing with Helene.
Yeah, well, and Christ, we even saw with when we were talking about the House of Glory Joe Hendry card and everything that they're doing, that even Joe Hendry, the namesake of the pay-per-view that they're doing, can't even make it because of travel and everything.
Absolutely. 316, good to see David Anthony. Don't forget, we doing Rampage sub. Yeah, don't forget about Rampage. We will be back for that. RM girl, good to see you. Welcome, as we are about a minute away. So Angel Flores, I see you. Team Serena Deeb, love the name. We got a couple super chats, but we'll get to that in we'll get this one quick. Much love, KBGBs. What? Nico the
Smoochies? Are you Jay and Silent Bob now?
Trying to comb Twitter and preach the word of Wrestling for Life Network. Preach. We appreciate the love, Spaz. We appreciate the super chat and all the support. Next week's a huge week. Heading into Bad Blood, CW shows. The week after that, I mean, it's the 5-year anniversary of AEW Dynamite. That's pretty cool. We will be here live for that. And then the week after, we get Title Tuesday. So NXT and AEW head to head. So we got lots coming your way, folks. A lot of exciting stuff. If the wrestling fans could stop being pre-mad at shit, I would love it.
Right, as I've got now on my screen.
I don't have now yet. Let me see if a refresh.
I'm at forever. Let me know when you get to forever. So, folks, me and KJ are syncing up right now. If you want to sync up with us, so you're in tune with everything we're talking about and commentating on and everything, go ahead and do that right now as I'm waiting for you to get forever, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Not yet.
So what up? Heebie-jeebies. Yeah. Heebie-jeebies.
Gilly, good to see you. We'll get back to that one. Odds, good to see you. Woo! This list is getting long and I love it. Now, Jesus Christ. Let's go.
We're almost there.
Forever.
There we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, SmackDown kicking off as Nick and I have just got in sync. And that's not where you keep your dishes, but together. And here we go. Make sure you get in that chat, hit all the buttons. Make sure you click on the little emojis and all that fun stuff. If you haven't hit like yet, make sure you do so as we are in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
In good old JR country, and I'm not gonna lie, that's you kind of popped me with that one, and that's not where you keep your dishes. Yeah, we're on episode 3 of SmackDown on USA Network, and the penultimate show before Bad Blood. We're gonna decide who takes on Nia Jax tonight with Naomi and Bayley going at it. Could that be a friendship issue as we're kicking off
for sure
with Randall Keith?
There we go. The fans are jumping. Great way to start the show tonight, folks. Showtime. Keebie-jeebies. Yeah, I'll accept that. Son of a bitch.
Right.
KJ and Big Nick, there is a pic of Hogan's beach shop being flooded. Well, sometimes the Lord does smite thee.
Sometimes the Lord does great work. The Lord does great work.
Nylander back at practice after injury scare. I know Matthews is dealing with an upper body, so Brandon, that's good news. It's good news, especially because I drafted him in one of my hockey pools.
We still got to figure out when we're going to do our league. Sorry.
Very soon, folks. Coming up.
Right.
What up, Gilly? Good to see you as always. We appreciate you stopping by. Kira, happy to see ya. Spaz, Toronto is getting a new 50,000 seat stadium. I need WWE NXT TNA crossover mania in my backyard. I'm selfish and hungry. Let's fucking do it, Spaz. I'll meet you there.
We'll be out there, setting up placards and everything.
Yeah, don't get too excited. Construction in Toronto in particular and in Ontario in a whole takes for fucking ever. That might not be.
You might get it in like 2030.
Yeah, 2087. Here we go.
Right.
Dun, dun, dun. Nope. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Jordan Elder, what up? David. KJ might be right. I don't know what we're talking about.
Be specific.
Right.
One second. I click on Anthony. What's up, Ringsider Anthony? How you doing? How you doing?
Coming to us live from a rowboat floating down the middle of Atlanta, Georgia. Just got us and a Bluetooth speaker.
Just fucking holding on to his cell phone signal.
Right. No, I'm glad everything's going good for Anthony. And to those who are dealing with the issues, 100% T's and P's. And I'm just glad homeboy's safe and good to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, being an East Coaster, I've dealt with a couple hurricanes. They're not fun. Again, your thoughts go out to everybody, and it's crazy what those storms do when you see trees and roofs and everything just upheaval.
Right.
Scary how powerful Mother Nature is.
It says, hold my beer. 4-4 Talk. What up, my guy? I can probably guarantee that construction in New York takes longer than anywhere else. Well, depends on where you're talking. If you're talking in upstate New York, yes. New York City, I don't know.
But keep in mind, the most congested city in the world is Toronto. You guys don't underestimate. Go look it up. The most congested city, not in the world, in North America, is Toronto. It is fucked. Our traffic is worse than New York's. Our traffic is fucked. It is
because y'all are too polite. Y'all don't know how to cut anybody off or anything like that. Y'all just get the four-way stops and say sorry.
I wish. You don't have to tell me about Ontario construction. I basically live in here, Ontario. Hey, I used to live right there. That's awesome. He's a McCallion light, right? Yeah. Now they're trying to build a new highway under a highway.
Y'all gonna be like, did we go to high school together?
Yeah, are we friends?
Are you in a yearbook together?
What's up, Spaz? Thank you again for the super chat. That's funny as shit.
We got Randy cutting a promo though.
Mm-hmm. It's my neck of the woods. Did you see that shit today? Judas Priest, especially the damn break-in in Tennessee. There's a lot of thoughts in there. I did not see Judas Priest. What happened?
Right. Did Judas Priest do a concert on a dam in Tennessee that broke? I have not seen this, sir. I do apologize. But I do see about 80 people kicking in with us right now. Let's see if we can get up to triple digits here as we're still just kicking off Friday Night Smackdown. This wind sucking. I'm up in Indy. Well, at least it's not blowing. I don't know.
Okay, he's calling out Cody, my friend. Interesting.
I told you, this is where we've seen this being teased at for quite a bit of him kind of eyeing that title. He did his little hiatus and went after Gunther.
So he calls out Cody, and Cody obliges.
Heel Randy makes more sense on his own than heel Kevin Owens does. especially because Kevin turning feels like it's tied to the bloodline. Randy's just naturally kind of going to be a prick at times, and I know Kevin has that too. But Kevin's in at least knee deep in this bloodline shit.
They're selling us really hard on the idea of just KO kind of being disappointed with the whole circumstance, but I do feel like they presented it in a way to kind of avoid that, in the sense of like Cody didn't like run out and hug Roman and like, did we just become best friends? No, it was very much of like, I don't like you, but we got to do this. So, I mean, again, does that resonate with a heel? Maybe not. But again, Cody, much like his dad, has a lot of friends with ability to stick something in his back real quick.
Well, he does have a little bit of that, Sting, situation in him, to where Sting always has friends. Somehow, for some way, he kept trusting Ric Flair, even though he turned on him every single time.
Right.
Spaz saying, be a friend, tell a friend, like, share, and subscribe, send a super chat. Then shameless plug on his part. I don't know if I should read it because he didn't do the super chat, but I'll say it still. Then check out Spaz and Jake previewing NXT on CW.
There you go. Do it.
Cody doing it.
The Viper. Yeah, you can't trust the Viper, folks. You can't do it. You never know. And we've been waiting for the Randy turn for a while. And something like Randy or KO will get Cody away from the bloodline for a minute. People are assuming they're just going to feed Cody back into Roman. That's storytelling. That's in the making. That's not happening overnight.
Oh, I think after Bad Blood, pretty much Roman and Cody they do this. Like, you get Roman spins off and he's involved in the bloodline, and we need something from Cody to be, he sinks his teeth into an actual storyline feud, and that's Randy to me, because we've had this whole discussion multiple times on here about Cody feeling mid to some people, not being fully behind his reign, because he hasn't had a story that you can really get into. So you don't put him back in the bloodline.
I call those people wrong, Nick. And
fair enough. I think I halfway convinced you at one point, but you can have that.
It's going to be Bloodline versus Roman, Cody, and KO and Orton. By the way, it's been building. I don't know about that, Misfit. I don't know yet, because we still got Jimmy in the mix.
Jay's going to be the hardest one now that you got to convert, because sat there now he had everything taken away from him when he went into the bloodline and everything. Now he got everything. He's become a top guy. He's got a singles title. For him to go back to the bloodline, that's going to be the hardest sell.
Right. Cody will be involved with the bloodline through Survivor Series. I don't think so. I think it shifts and it becomes very Samoan heavy. I think this becomes family business, and Cody's not family. No, I could be wrong, Misfit. You could be right. I'm just theorizing.
Going off of how they've at least presented it, and that's just saying, well, they haven't brought Jimmy back. They haven't tied in Jay yet. They haven't brought Heyman back. They haven't done a Hikuleo. Right now, what they've had and everything, it would go the way that they said of it be Cody, it be Roman, it be KO, it be Randy, all of that, because that's the only baby faces that have been out there paired to this.
Yeah, fair enough.
Give it time. This isn't next week. This isn't even next month. Give it time.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, folks. Don't forget it. And they talked a lot about it. It's forcing fans in 2024 to be patient. And I know a lot of the fans just get mad, like, oh, I'm not getting everything I want right now. Suck it up, Buttercup.
Right. John, what up? KO eventually will turn heel, and Randy will also turn heel.
Everyone's turning heel.
Everybody turns.
I mean, that's the Dusty factor, where everybody fucked Dusty. Now Cody's Dusty.
Well, did you find it funny that some people were going at like the documentary for Mr. McMahon because it was just WWE superstar? It wasn't like world champion, everything. It's like he wasn't world champion then.
People
they overanalyzed the shit out of it. Well, they even specifically had son of Dusty Rhodes on there, like in case you forgot that Cody Rhodes is Dusty Rhodes' kid.
Yeah, like, but I mean, again, like, what the fuck? Like, seriously?
People like to bitch on Twitter because half the time they're just taking shit because they're full of shit. Excuse me.
You know, wipe the fucking Cheetos dust off your belly and go do something for a fucking hour. Go get a hobby that isn't just sitting and fucking whining on the internet.
See, this is though when we need like a sponsor like Dollar Shave Club or Manscaped. I know even though we're bearded and everything, and we can just prove we can lift up our beards and show that we're not neck beards and everything. And that's where you need to make sure that you're 100% never a neck beard when it comes to watching wrestling. As we're getting Cody and Randy shaking hands. I did a sales pitch to a sponsor we don't even have. What the hell am I doing out here?
Oh, I like it. Randy says it's not a problem at all unless you make it a problem. Let's go.
Oh. This can prove you right, or this can prove my thought right here. Either way, I'm still entertained. It's still great.
It feels like fucking Caesar. Like it's fucking who is Judas, right? It's like the Bible. It's Biblix. Like
we're taking this. Where's WB? We're taking this shit to the Biblix.
Yeah. Like who?
It's been a minute since we've been able to say we're taking it to the Biblix.
Right? Like it's Caesar. Like who is going to fuck Caesar? Who is going to turn on Jesus? And right now, Cody's is Jesus, and we don't know who the Judas is going to be. We know the other Judas is fucked off and won't leave TV, but we're going to the Biblix.
Yeah, but see, I think though that's
wait more music. And the star power in the ring right now, man.
Bloodline and everything coming out.
Oh, we got the Usos. All the Usos.
We got all the Usos. We got all the Tongans. We got the Bloodline 2.0 coming out here. But I think, and again, it's so interesting. Every time KO was about to talk and everything, cut off. But I think they keep selling you and making it look so obvious who Judas might be that you're not going to see Judas really show up.
But I think one of them's fucking them. One of them.
Oh yeah, right. Well, to us, we get it.
And they won't let KO speak on it. Randy hints like, I'm good for now. So, I mean, I love it because only one of them's. I don't imagine they both turn together. That'd be crazy. They both just beat them.
Do we get a 6-man tag match tonight here? I know we're getting the trios tag ladder match next week here, but we've got at least 3 people here with the Bloodline, and we've got Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton over here.
Acknowledge me. Boo.
But Life Pop, what up? Who's ready for the return of Bad Blood next Saturday evening?
We're ready. It's already up on the channel waiting for y'all.
Right. MDB there to the Biblix. Now we need Stoner Jesus to show up in the chat too.
But that's what this is. This is theater. This is Shakespeare. Like, who's going to be the one that eventually gives up on his friend? Who is going to be the one that turns? And it might be one. It might be both. It might be neither. But it feels like somebody's going to. And they won't let you. Like, they won't let them say enough that we can really grab onto who it might be.
It's a lovely murder mystery out here. You know, somebody's dying. Somebody's the slasher here. You just don't know who yet. As we're even getting OTC chants still.
Oh, absolutely.
This show is not sponsored by Hulu because you get to see the whole show. This whole show. Fair enough. I'm confused by your comment, Trek. Like WCW with Sting or KJ or WWE with Austin. It's very much the Sting effect with WCW. He kept crushing Ric Flair and constantly got turned on.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth, Oklahoma.
And Jacob. Look at Jacob. He's
in the Biblix 100%. He's out there. He's out there saying the Rosemary's I tried to think of some sort of Samoan pun for Biblix and I couldn't make it work together, but you get the idea.
Ooh. See little details, my guy. Cody goes to talk and KO starts talking. And Cody kind of looks over his shoulder like, really, bro? Like, it was just this weird little moment for a second of like, oh.
But how many times have you or I done that with each other? And especially, I mean, goddamn it, you look like Kevin Owens. So I think he gets a pass.
Maybe. He interrupts him again.
It doesn't have to be just a tag team match. There's 3 of us. Oh, so Kevin's saying you can worry about that one, saying take the night off, Cody.
You already have
been that heel now. That's a babyface move.
but he keeps interrupting Cody. No, Cody. No, Cody. I got you, Cody.
I'm gonna keep it about my
Your
man. How many times have I done that with you, and we still cool afterwards?
I'm just telling you. And again, I still feel like the quiet one is the one that you got to watch, and that the quiet one is Randy. Like, don't get me wrong, Randy is the viper in the grass. Like, that's what you got to watch out for in all this.
And that's, to me, though, that's what to me makes the most sense. Of Randy Orton is still the legend, still the icon. You want to sit there and talk about him getting towards that 15 record, that 16 record, and all of that. He's got to start going towards those world titles sooner rather than later.
Oh, as we jump, I agree. Now as we jump to the replay of last week where both women got the pin, I admit this wasn't my favorite finish to how they got here, but Naomi going to take on Bayley tonight for the #1 contender.
I was really surprised because I didn't think they were going to do it this way. I thought that they were going to do it to where there was a clean winner and you had Tiffany takes the pin, and that's what really sets up the issue started going forward between Nia and Tiffany.
Right. KO can't trust Cody. Ooh, juicy.
You can't say that. And then we cut to Nia Jax of juicy.
KO turned down Cody. Yeah, like again, and KO ran that promo by the end. Like twice, Cody went to speak, and his buddy KO spoke for him. And if you are the guy, if you're the champ, you don't like that. You don't like it.
I mean, but I don't know. To me, you can have that. That even what I'm mad at. You want to tell me to take the night off? You saying you got this? You got me, my dog, and everything? You can have that. That even what I'm mad at.
Right. Tiffany's asked for president.
Yo. As Nia out here with the goozle on Tiffany.
So if this keeps happening, this is setting up a babyface turn for Tiff outright when she cashes in.
She's gotten over. Tiffy time's a thing. We've talked about this even when she was out there in Australia. I'm surprised that they'd go this fast in making her a babyface when she still works really well as a natural heel. But
look, Tiff getting mad in the crowd cheers. Yeah, you're right, Nick. And I love it. I love, again, 2 segments into the show, and there's nothing but dissension and question marks and who's going to do what. And Tiffany is going to get her due.
Oh, absolutely. We're going right from that to we're starting with Bayley and Naomi out here for the #1 contendership to take on Nia Jax. So we've got to be ending it with, well, clearly now after the first segment of did they say, is it the Gorillas of Destiny taking on Kevin Owens and Randy Orton?
They challenged Solo and Jacob.
Oh,
right.
Even more of a baby face of we're gonna weaken down your opponents before you take them on, next week. And Cody, you can sit this one out. I know he interrupted. I do that myself. But I think that's a babyface move to do that.
Depends. Again, if the champion wants to be involved in a 6-man and you're like, no, bro, take a seat. If you're the star player, you're going to feel
I get, yeah.
Right?
If you say, no, if you tap,
right.
Austin Matthews and your third line center and say, no, I got this face off. You can have that. Yeah.
Go take a bench. I got this one. I got this PP. I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, we head into our first commercial break. And I will take a second to remind everyone we are back tomorrow, 7:45 p.m. for Collision Grand Slam, where we get a lumberjack strap match the first time in my life. So we're all the hats. We're also getting a Soraya match, which we're not quite sure what Soraya rules is, but apparently, from my knowledge, it's a 2-on-1.
I don't know. That might also be a lumberjack strap match.
It might be.
Right. We say strap on and strap in, and I think Tony Khan and Collision took us far too seriously with that one.
Yeah, we also get Jack Perry Open Challenge. We're getting a lucha match in honor of Latin Heritage Month. I can't keep track of all these months.
Fair enough.
But we're getting a lucha match for that. It will be a triple threat. I think we're getting a couple other things, so that should be fun.
Right. Absolutely. I like this, though, here from Kicker real quick of saying bad blood is Tiffy time. Could you see them pulling the trigger that fast?
Yeah, why not? How long are they gonna? I mean, they could do it. I mean, will they keep it going? I don't know. They could do it. If Bailey or Naomi, who I don't even know who's gonna win this match, like who becomes the number one contender? And folks, get your votes in. Let us know what you think. Or do you think Tiffany fucks it up and ends up being a triple threat? So even more reason.
Oh, that would be even worse. That would be the worst case Ontario for that whole situation. I don't know if I poll for. I kind of want to. I'm always a fan of Bailey, but I also know our buddy Anthony is going to be there at the show live and to see Naomi challenge for Nia Jax for the world title.
Like a dream match.
I just need the reaction of, even if it's someone just holding the camera on Anthony, of his reaction when Naomi comes out. And if, say, she wins and then Tiffany cashes in on her, I also need that reaction as well. But yeah, I almost want to pull for Naomi just because I know Anthony's going to be there live and in attendance.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking what Gilly's thinking, right? Does this lead to a three-way? And then, because because Nia's taken on two women, I've already seen her beat Bailey. So if I'd rather Naomi win this, three-way to me, I don't love. But I think if I was voting or if I was booking, I would like Naomi to get the dub. But the three-way maybe sets up more of like Nia got beat up by two women and then pinned by Tiffany.
Right.
Taking powder, Cody.
Well, Gilly with his comment of, I don't like the idea of if this ends in like a double count out or to where both women go on to the next match and both take on Nia, because you could have just done that with the last match. So this
we started there.
Kind of fucking stupid at that point. It becomes a Darby Allin match. That's now from here on out what I'm labeling stupid matches that didn't need to take place, that ended up fucking over the people involved in it. But yeah, if you're gonna do a triple threat with both these women, then you should have just gone there after this last match.
I'm sorry again. Thank you again, Spaz. We appreciate it. I'm sorry, but we are told more story and set more attention in the last 25 minutes than the Munch show did in the big AEW Bland Sham show. We paid to say it, and I don't disagree. And people kind of came at me a little bit, and we got some comments on the channel of like, how could you not like that? I'm sorry, guys. Grand Slam sucked. We had two good matches, and I can't get past the fact that two good matches does not make a 2-hour show good. And I feel bad for Darby, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're just coming back off a commercial, so I'm saved by coming off of a commercial break that I don't have to go into. But hey, we've got Cardi B out here, and I did want to bring up this and everything and get everybody in the chat's opinion on this. Of WWE, very much we've talked about it, them moving towards mainstream artists and everything. But they've worked with Sexy Red, they've worked with Cardi B, now they've worked with Megan Thee Stallion and everything like that. They had Cardi B out
like the other.
Yeah, but I'm saying, well, yes, I agree with that. But I think it's that we've talked about at times to where the IWC will run off celebrity fans. WWE seems to be kind of reeling in those celebrity fans. Like Cardi B's a known actual wrestling fan.
Yeah.
And you're going to use her to advertise SummerSlam going 2 nights in New Jersey next year. I think it's great. I think it's a fantastic strategy.
Well, again, I think what I talked about when we were kind of reviewing the Vince documentary is Triple H is a student of the game, and it worked very well once upon a time. That's how the WWE broke into the mainstream. Music is one of the universal things globally, and that's what the MTV served WWE so well. Trips is doing the same thing. We saw Jelly Roll. We've seen MGK.
Don't worry, he's shit. You don't need to worry about saying his name.
Yeah, somebody made me forget his name real hard. But I mean, man, they've had you said Cardi B. Now we've already had Bad Bunny, even though that was early on.
Yeah, but we even forget about that. Chumbaya, Chumbaya. We've got Meg Thee Stallion as the theme for SmackDown. Like 100% that WWE is going back to that kind of almost rock and wrestling age, but it's a little bit more hip hop and wrestling.
Yeah. A slight edge to to Bailey in the chat right now.
Yeah, shout out Naomi with the glow Uno gear. She's trying to pull the Uno reverse card out here.
I'm waiting for Anthony to turn on Boston, and that's funny. Feel the glow.
The shield.
It's going to be a fatal 4-way match at Bad Blood. My prediction. No, that doesn't make sense.
One-on-one. Oh, I'd give it to Bailey or not. Sorry, Naomi.
I don't like when the Money in the Bank person gets pulled into the match. I like the whole like, oh, here she comes.
The Money in the Bank, like Tiffany's whole thing with this is still interesting to me. If you were going to turn her babyface, you can't do that like within a week. I feel.
No.
I think you really kind of need to, like you said, get back to more of like that. That becomes a consistent thing to where Nia Jax is out there, goozling Tiffany and right. You got to degrade. You got to beat down Daddy's little princess. Pause.
Oh, amen.
Yeah.
At least Meg the Stallion and Cardi B have Grammy. I don't get how Sexy Red is famous or a thing, but hey, maybe I'm old.
There's a lot of other people I thought they could have gotten, but I mean, it was a start. It was a thing.
Yeah. Spaz, if you could limit your clapping to a little bit less or put it in one comment.
A little bit.
We love you, bro. Charles, Jonas Brothers, what? Pardon, what?
No, what?
What's up, Jake? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
Oh, man.
Too good of a heel. That's the thing, but the fans keep cheering for it. Are you stuck on that at all?
Well, that's as Naomi out here in control, but that's been the thing to me, and that's why you've got to really get the narrative and switch the narrative behind her, because Tiffany's to me a natural heel. Makes perfect sense still with her character, her gimmick. Yes, she's gotten cheered, but if you do it super quick, you're going to go back to she's just a heel again. You need to really, if you're going to make her a babyface, you've got to make her a bit sympathetic.
Mm-hmm. Who has the worst comeback in WWE in 2024? I like Andrade's comeback, and I like where he's at now. I've been petitioning for this since he returned. Again, I think people just expect them to be skyrocketed, and not everybody can do that. I know you and Anthony have heavily debated Naomi's position in this company.
I was going to say, in 8 jobs, you can get this work too. 100% of, to me, it's not a bad comeback at all. Just because they instantly don't jump to the main event scene or anything like that doesn't mean it's a bad rehire or anything like that, or it's been a failed push. Not everybody's going to be a top guy. Not every free agent any team signs is in the starting lineup. You 100% still sign guys that are going to be your B players, your C players, all of that. And still, Naomi's now getting a time to shine. She's out here about to be probably taking on Nia Jax at Bad Blood for a world title shot. Andrade's out here in a fantastic feud with Carmelo, and we're in game 6 of it. They snuck in a 7-match series on us, and we used to crucify AEW doing it with the Young Bucks and Lucha Bros, but we're out here over the hills with it when it's Carmelo and Andrade. They've managed to make it to get them involved and very much elevate them. They just didn't do it abrasive and upfront out of the gate like everybody wanted them to do.
And again, it depends on who you are and how they position. And I don't think either have been bad for the return. I don't think either are disappointed. I remember when Chelsea came back early and, she gets chucked out of the Rumble right away. And people are like, I bet she regrets it. And she publicly is like, I'm loving my life. Woo! People need to get it and understand what they're trying to do. And I think I will continue to preach that it's a marathon, not a sprint, guys. They didn't sign for 6 months. They signed for multiple years. I think we'll be okay. But Naomi's been a bit quiet, but where do you put her? I mean, you had other things going on. Who does she pole vault over? So here she is now in the title picture. You can't really be mad about it.
Well, and then that's the thing is you still have people like Roxanne Perez and everything that we've talked about that are still in NXT because there's not, that much room in the women's division right now on the main roster of WWE to where even say Roxanne Perez slides in. So Naomi, she got re-signed and everything. That doesn't mean she pole vaults to the front. Like it's a murderer's row in this women's division.
They didn't sneak this in at all. People been hating on Melo versus Andrade the whole time. I'm not quite sure why, and I haven't seen a lot of the hate MDB. But what would be again, if you're a fan of the work rate and high, like the big spots in that, this match could be on AEW on Wednesday and it'd be the best match of the week. So I don't understand the hate directed in that direction.
To me, that doesn't make any bit of sense to me. I haven't seen really any bit of, backlash or backfire or anything like that on that whole, feud of matches here.
Stop, Rashad. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome back, sir.
Ooh. Bailey with an elbow on Naomi.
That's a very interesting question. Who are the four pillars? I mean, it's hard to pick the four pillars of WWE because it's a stupid concept.
Yeah, 100%.
Who's your top four? I mean, that's a tough sell. Cody, Roman. Like, do you leave out Drew, Punk? Like, what does Rhea get? That's a good example. But I mean, for any business to come out and say this is our four pillars, they better be fucking pulling weight. And unfortunately, the guy that coined the four pillars idea, 3 of those 4 are all but not doing much.
Right. Oh, rear view. 1, 2 go. Yeah, the whole 4 pillars thing and that backfired and snafu 100%. It's, to me, it's even a little bit. You save that more for like a Mount Rushmore conversation, everything like that. You can't sit there and say, who's the pillars of your company. Then you're instantly putting a ton of weight on certain competitors, certain people, and you're getting, I guess, passing the buck on a lot of other people. It's a fucking failed concept.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it didn't age well, so that's
that becomes there's a lot of shit.
Step up in Zaguri.
Right.
I don't know where.
We're perfect in sync. Yeah.
Absolutely, Roddy.
1, 2 go.
Speaking of Woo, Saraya signed a new contract with AEW. Now, did you mean Saray or Saraya, Danny? I know Saraya. But why? Like, who gives a fuck? Let her go. What are you bringing her back for?
I mean, to me, if it's Tony, I'd still sign her.
I wouldn't sign her. I would right now. I would not.
I would sign her, but the deals on the terms on what she signed, I would negotiate and everything.
If you're running a wrestling company, what does she bring? What is the return on investment for Saraya?
2. Oh, Naomi rolls into a front face lock.
Nice.
Oh,
blocked. And just drops her.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're reversing the suplexes. Like, Saraya still is a name thing. She still has some sort of value.
To who?
Twitter.
To who? Who's buying tickets to see Saraya? Nobody. Nobody.
But you also I get very much what you're saying. I think it's like I said, I would debate the terms of the contract. If she's a depth player and everything, that's one thing. If I'm signing her on starter, on main roster level money and everything, then we're talking a different game.
You let her go and you use people like Anna Jay or Julia Hart when she's healthy, or Willow or Stat. Stop giving TV time to the old WWE talent. This was AEW, and you're wasting all your money on.
Have her do the JOB. Have her use her to put people over.
She doesn't, though. She doesn't.
Well, that's again. We're talking about if I could control the contract negotiation.
I would buy her at a flea market.
Fair enough. Well, she might be the flea at the flea circus, but I've got Bailey with a belly to belly.
And she goes up top.
Right.
What if Bailey wins? Could we see Naomi heel? Yeah, I'm down. Big elbow.
1, 2,
hey,
3.
Clean,
Oh, Anthony, I'm so sorry.
Bailey wins clean. I like it.
Could this? Well, as right as you said that though, and mentioning about Naomi being heel, we've also heard the talks, and she's paired up there with Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, and they've also started to get this a little bit of a heel vibe. So birds of a feather might flock together.
Right. No, I like that. I like that idea a lot.
But so Bailey will be taking on Nia Jax.
Bailey getting a rematch, but this is like their big cheer for Bailey with her arm raised. I like it because, again, more contention in this company. Everybody kind of mad at everybody a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. It's almost like people kind of wanted this. Like this might have almost felt like Naomi's Jey Uso moment a little bit.
Yeah, she looks super dejected. She looks upset. Bailey's pumped, but Naomi not happy. I like planting this seed. SmackDown's women's division kind of mid.
Well, and especially the SmackDown's women's division needs some fire thrown on that. So some more logs on some more kindling in the fire here.
I mean, it's funny because there's Naomi, there's a former champion in Bailey, one of your most recent champions. Nia's killing it. Tiffy's there. I mean, as we're going to the replay of Andrade and LA from last week.
Well, and now I feel bad. Anthony's saying, "Good night, guys."
Buddy. Yeah, she got the Uno didn't help her at all.
Yeah, she's waiting. She's just waiting to play the Uno reverse card.
Yo, LA Knight, but we got a decent pop for Andrade there.
That's what I'm saying. I said this earlier. I feel like this whole series and everything, this late run, this recent run with Andrade's helped him more than it's helped Carmelo. This is really, he was floating in the mist. Remember, he was halfway Judgment Day. He was halfway this, he was halfway that, and everything. He was lost.
Oh, shit. Wait a minute. Oh, Carmelo says hello. Let's go.
What the fuck?
As we hit triple.
Carmelo just, hey, let's go, bitch.
Enough of that guy. Let's go. We got a match. Get in here.
Yo, that's dope. And WWE's gotten so good with. We saw it on Monday where we had Dom and Liv showing up in the lowrider, and then all of a sudden Braun Strowman's taking out Bronson Reed. As up next, we're getting part 6. Is that the Empire Strikes Back, or is that Return of the Jedi? I think that's Return of the Jedi, and then we get into this, but we're getting an advertisement.
For Bronson and Braun. I wonder if they're ever going to do Soraya. Those two ladies would have to roll in shit to draw flies. Let's be real. Do not book that. I want the AEW that I signed up to watch back in the day, where AEW talent was new and fresh and exciting. Not a bunch of washed up WWE talent that don't draw fucking nothing.
You don't want just how bad can we get? We must touch the bottom before we can get to the top. We must go as low as we can go, sir.
We re-signed Soraya so she could do nothing like she's done for the last 2 years. Oh, good. Great. The company's saved.
I will say this in transition after we just got the advertisement for the last Monster Standing match, and I'm still going to keep calling it that. But it feels 100%, my guy, at this point that there is a can't miss match on almost every night next week of wrestling. To where you've got Monday Night Raw, you've got the last Monster Standing match between Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman. Tuesday Night, Christ, we're kicking off with Julia and Roxanne after we had Stephanie Vacour show up on NXT last week, and we've still got Ethan Page versus Trick for the NXT title with CM Punk as the guest referee. Then we get to Wednesday, we got Ospreay Ricochet. Thursday, we're going to be here doing our Bad Blood predictions and everything like that. Friday, we've already got announced the trios tag team match for the tag team titles on SmackDown between the Bloodline, the Street Profits, and DIY, and then we roll into Bad Blood. We're literally arguing what could be the main event. There's that many good matches on the show. We're literally like, well, no, this one's the better match. This one's going to be the better thing.
Yeah, I mean, stacked. And I mean, I'm happy about it. I mean, there's so much going on. And coming out of Bad Blood, we roll into the 5th anniversary of Dynamite. We head to Wrestle Dream. It's nonstop, guys, and we love doing it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We got lots and lots and lots coming your way. But 444 made a comment. KJ, it's about how you use your talent. Paige is money in WWE. She was, though. If you brought her back now, she's not the same. And she can't perform in the ring the way she used to. She's not a good promo. She doesn't cut a great promo. WWE could sell us on Paige, the nostalgia of Paige, but you can't make Paige a prominent part of the women's division. There's 25 women in WWE right now. They're miles better than her. And because Tony underutilizes her, what's the point of having her? They're buying again, if you buy enough toys that you just leave on the shelf, fine. But Soraya's not helping this company. And you have a lot of women that could use that TV time instead of her.
I will say this, and I know I was arguing with you and defending it and everything. And Soraya's probably Paige, what have you, whatever you want to call her at this point, even between what she can do in ring, her actions outside of the ring, Christ, her goddamn husband, everything like that, how much she's got her and family involved and everything. She is the one person I think right now, especially that Vince McMahon's out of the business, that defines the term carny when it comes to being involved in pro wrestling and everything. Just literally just 100%. I've got to get my whole family involved. I'm constantly over. I do this. I show this. She still, to me, embodies that whole carny vibe that started pro wrestling.
Honestly, I'm just tired of Tony Khan bringing in all these people from the other company. It now feels like 2012 WWE that nobody wanted to see. And it's booked worse and makes less sense. In a lot of
AEW as a whole, and we could do this as a poll question or a community question, what have you, has AEW shifted to, in your perception, anybody that can hear our voices right now, much more closer to WWE than you would have liked and than what you would have perceived? Because it started as the antithesis and now keeps, like you even said with the contract with adding injury times and everything, every day you get closer and closer, to the thing you were trying to avoid, it feels.
Yeah, it bothers me. I mean, again, it's the WCW approach to wrestling booking. No long-term plan and just scoop up the company. You scoop up the people that the other company made and got over. And hopefully we can do it too. But what they're learning is, I mean, again, even about MVP showing up and Bobby Lashley's coming. I don't give a fuck. Bobby Lashley's not going to sell more tickets. It's not going to help. You're fucked. WWE is not missing Bobby Lashley. They let him go for a reason. And Tony could work on booking his own people, not all these other people that have gone over the hill. Ricochet, great signing by Tony. He's still ready to go. He's still in his prime. Bobby, MVP needs a cane. How is this helping your company?
Well, and you're shitting on Nana, who was your top manager and everything that was paired up with your top babyface. As we're showing, I believe last week here. But yeah, are we gonna get a documentary in like 5 years' time or whatever to where Tony Khan saying, Triple H got his whole idea of how to book from Tony Khan?
Yeah. Right. Right now, a pretty even split. Carmelo leading the way. Yes. This is going 7, guys. We're gonna get. I think it's going 7 anyway. So I expect this one to be tied up at the end of this.
Yeah, I don't see Tim Donahue as the referee out here, so I think we're good. This probably will still go 7 games.
I like his entrance.
Andrade has really sold me, and like I know I was pitching for him earlier, but still, that the spinning back elbow to where he like feints the big boot and then spins into the spinning back elbow, I think is one of the slickest transitions in pro wrestling currently.
Right. Again, and I was a big Andrade sympathizer, especially when people were mad about his booking and stuff when he did return that he wasn't really getting. And I was like, just wait, he's so good. Like, I'm such a fan of the guy from his past that I like that they're giving him something like this to build into. And like you said, I mean, it's worked very well for both these guys.
Oh yeah, you argued for this has helped Carmelo, and I can't deny it. And I've argued that this helps, Andrade more, and you can't really argue with it either. That's the thing, is this is done for the mid card division on SmackDown. What we've seen with like Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed and everything, and Jey Uso and Braun Breaker and Ilya is done for the mid-card division on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. As we kick this one off with a drop kick, but Andrade quickly taking over, and the crowd cheering for Andrade. I like it. What was I didn't catch this. Did you catch Thunder Rosa calling out Dave? Because now
I hadn't seen that. The most I had seen is that Fightful put out a thing about how she's still out and she'll let people know when she's out. Like last I knew, she was out because she was dealing with concussion protocol. But I don't know. There's 10 million reasons to go at Dave Meltzer. Pick one.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh! Like total almost a little tour of the islands there from Andrade on the Carmelo onto the apron as we go to commercial. Oh, that was impressive. Like through the ropes too.
Both men selling it as we go to another commercial break, folks. The action is still rolling. Make sure you get in that chat. Let us know what's on your wrestling mind. As I see a lot of good comments, heating up. I like it. Tony Khan has already showed his true colors when the Ray Phoenix shit. I like it.
It's still interesting of do you hold him accountable for finally acting like a boss?
To an extent.
I hate the whole thing, but like, I mean, does he continue to just let everybody leave, or does he actually show I'm trying to run a business here?
Yep. But I think my issue doesn't lie with Tony Khan. Tony Khan can do what Tony Khan wants to do. But the next person that can't get out of the dub, which I mean, not many people are jumping off that ship right now. I don't want to hear these fucking whiners crying about typical Fed. They won't let you fight. They're just hoarding talent. All right, okay. All right. Time to look in the mirror, fuckers.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I agree with that. I think I was more of responding towards the comment, but yeah.
Yeah. Here's a history lesson. We'll come back to baseball later.
Yeah.
I like Andrade's entrance. I do. It's got over with me.
It's definitely interesting, and he's got the whole black mask and everything. He's gone back to that whole thing. Frank saying, I'm just so happy they're keeping Andrade away from the LWO and letting him be him. Now there was the whole talk that if, speaking of Ray Phoenix and Penta, that if they went to WWE and were going to the main roster like people alleged, that you would have potentially had your own little mini faction there too with Andrade and the Lucha Bros.
It was very possible they could spin that. I mean, again, that might be on hold. And I wondered, what does this mean? Like, does Penta say, fuck it, I'm going anyway, and I'll see you in a year, bro? Like, what happens? Does Penta, like, yeah, again, if you have something to do, if you're going to use Phoenix for 12 months, I have less of an issue. If you're just going to make them sit home for a year just because, I don't like that, bro. And nobody would let the dub away with it when they were making people sit for not. Oh, this isn't fair. Yeah, well, let's hold on now.
But that's why I think using that whole thing is more of a malicious thing than it's ever used as right. And that's across the board. Whichever 3 letters you put in front of a fucking wrestling promotion that does that, to me, that's more malicious than anything. That's, you're tampering their appeal to go towards anything. You're hampering their chance to make money.
It's like Miro. Like, why, if you're okay, do you have a plan for Miro? Probably not. You haven't been able to work with the guy. Let him go. It's why, like I'm not that mad that I think it was the wrong decision, but at least Tony Khan let Punk leave. Fuck off. I don't need to look at you anymore. You scared the shit out of me. Because if Punk was still just sitting at home under contract, it just eats at, it's more negative press and more negative press. Tony and AEW need some good shit to happen. I want this right deal to get announced just so we have something to cheer about.
Yeah, but you keep having bad news and bad story and bad press and bad publicity that keeps coming out here at this point. That, when it rains, it pours, and this shit's raining cats and dogs.
Yeah. Thunder Rosa, fan of the channel. Shout out to her. I'm an even bigger fan of Thunder Rosa now. And just remember, folks, if you want to tell Meltzer what Thunder Rosa did, get yourself a t-shirt.
I should have been wearing mine. I don't have mine on me. Yes, 100%. I like how even when we were covering the McMahon documentary and someone's like, I was expecting Meltzer to be wearing a Meltzer shirt.
We might have to send Thunder one of these.
Free of charge. Free of charge.
Free of fucking charge for sure. We're back to the action, folks. Somebody had mentioned, I think it might have been C Money or MDB about. Oh no, it was MDB. Yeah, that's where some people forget. Like Andrade was like he beat Drew for that title, and he was wicked. I kind of want them to give Zelina back to him because that was his best when she was a heel manager and he was just the guy that went in and
Zelina. We're that's revisionist history to me at that point. Of that's not at this point. That's not the same Zelina.
Not accurate.
Well, I'm saying in the sense of to put them back together, like and expecting it to go back to that. I don't think that that's going to happen.
Fair enough. But I like him with a heater. I think his wife should be his heater, to be honest.
Well, there's the potential that that happens because we still know that Charlotte's allegedly going to be on the SmackDown brand, and how far away is she from coming back?
I don't know. Everyone's kind of expecting her any minute now. Like it's been around that 8-9 month mark, and she was ahead of schedule in the summer. People think she's due to come back Survivor Series ish.
Well, it's also you bring somebody back when you have something. Code breaker, like as they're sliding across the ring for a 2-go.
AEW was started to put over new talent and give a different show from WWE. Now it's just Vince era WWE. They've gone from selling out arenas to giving out tickets just to get a few thousand fans. Dennis, that sums it up pretty nicely, buddy.
Right, as Mello's got his mouth busted open.
Yeah, that could have happened on that code breaker there. It came in kind of hot.
Yeah. Oh, Meteor in the corner.
It's like Punk interview. AEW will be around so TK will stop spending money. Facts. Again, he has an unlimited piggy bank, right, as far as we know.
He's billionaire con.
Right. Lady B, welcome back. I've lost all interest in SmackDown. Oh, Anthony, heartbroken. Don't worry. Naomi's got a bright future, bro.
She's got a bright future. Oh,
she lost to a multiple-time champ. She'll get her bounce back. It was a good match. I ain't mad about it.
Well, we can talk about to where Mercedes Moné mentioned about when they both left the company and WWE offered them both to re-sign, and Naomi took it, but Mercedes didn't because apparently the money meant more to Naomi than the quality of matches. And I've seen people meme the shit out of that with Mercedes saying that, like, are the quality of the matches in the room with us right now? Because those fuckers don't exist right now. What fucking insane Mercedes have. 1, 2 go.
Wow. Good match again by these two. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was saying to where Mercedes Moné had sat there and basically said, long story short, that as we go to commercial break, that Naomi took the deal with WWE because money meant more to her than having good matches.
Interesting, because Mercedes got more money than Naomi, I'm guessing, but it's a pretty educated guess. And Mercedes has put on nothing but absolute fucking trash matches. The match those two just had, Bayley and Naomi, is miles better than anything Mercedes has done in AEW. So help me understand.
Again, you'd have to understand what goes on in Mercedes Moné's, Sasha Banks, whatever her shoot name is. Mine.
We're on commercial breaks, folks. Do you find it funny that Swerve and Mercedes were both on the Breakfast Club and spent the vast majority of it talking about the WWE?
No, because
a bulk of it talking about the company they're no longer in. It's really weird.
Well, you talk about the bigger competition, you talk about the bigger company. Christ, I don't have allegiance. It feels weird to even have to say this stupid shit, by the way, which if a company is your personality, evaluate your life, honestly. But to have to sit there and say I have no allegiance to either side, but you see a lot of AEW more based people online and everything only post stuff aimed at WWE. Meanwhile, WWE fans will talk about WWE. So everyone's talking about WWE, but everyone's picking on AEW too at the same time somehow.
Yeah, interesting. Nikita Lyons returning to in-ring action tonight. Is that real? Hey, let's go.
Fair enough. You can see the overwhelming support and reaction behind it. I had heard no discussion about that until just now.
I saw someone, Nikita, talking about like my knees feel better, and I was like, all right, get your knee pads, let's go. So she should be back any minute. Gilly, I want to be very clear when I answer this. Not you as a person, but that comment is stupid. We're in the middle of a fucking series. Like, do you watch the World Series and go, what 50-50 booking? It's going back and forth. Like, it's a series. This is not a filler match. It is a good rivalry, my guy. Like, help me understand. Like, that's why it's back and forth. Like, let's not be dumb. Like, that's a silly comment.
Well, and they also didn't spell it out for us. Like, we were all can't color inside the fucking lines and shit, and we put, square pegs in round holes and everything like that. They didn't say this is going to be a 7-match series. I didn't even realize fully until they announced, what was it, last week, that we were on, match 6 of this and everything, of how much they've gone back and forth, because there has been, Andrade goes at LA Knight and everything with this. Carmelo's involved in this. We have had them separate and still come back together. And each time they've had a different match. They've still done similar notes and everything, but they've had different matches. They've had different spots, and they've both always managed to really pull out a hell of a match. Like,
and this match right now is better than fucking 80% of what I had to sit through on Wednesday. So, and again, 50-50. It's a rivalry, you fucks. Like, think. No, and again, not you personally, Gilly. That comment is dumb. I appreciate
you just happen to write it, I guess.
The idea that Mercedes has any value at all is a testament to the people that she worked with. And 100%, I say this all the time. We're beating a dead horse. Back to the action.
Right. As Carmelo's got Andrade kind of set up for like a superplex here.
I got you, MDB.
Yeah, 100%. You might be able to trade that for like a Slim Jim or something at the gas station.
I don't know about the recency bias. Tribalism is an issue. And I don't like them. That's why we started this channel, my friend. It's about trying to have an open mind and being open and honest about it. And unfortunately, right now, I know AEW takes a lot of heat from me in particular, but I mean, that's when WWE, here it goes, double flips.
The double moonsault.
Big kick out. What a match. I like it.
Right.
That's why we started this channel. We just wanted to, and when WWE was booking garbage and AEW was cooking, we were here. Go back in the archive. We were praising them. So that's all we ever wanted to do was have the open debate. But for some reason, you're not allowed to be critical or honest about AEW, and it drives me nuts.
Right. Boston. No, I'm sick of watching this rivalry. What's the payoff? Is that you've built these two guys up.
Listen to the building. That's the fucking payoff, guys. Like, are we fucking nuts? Listen to the crowd. That's the payoff. A live 10,000 people screaming, go, go, go. It's fun. They're having a rivalry. Nobody sat around and said, why is Sheamus and Cesaro having a 7-match series? Who gives a fuck? Yeah. We're having good matches. Down he goes. And you're building a star in Carmelo in the process.
Two. Well, and that's what I was really getting at. And 100%, I mean, honestly, that's why I had to be quiet, because you were just saying everything. My mind was speaking and all that. But you're building both of these guys up. That's why we were literally arguing about who this has helped more, because it's gotten them both the fuck over with this. Like, that's the thing, is this has just been an entertaining feud. Are we that dissolved? Are we that fucking worn out? Are we the eraser that everybody had in kindergarten that you sat there and dug your number 2 pencil into and everything like that, and nubbed down to look getting more black than it did the pink that it was supposed to be and everything? There's no title involved in this. There's no blood, guts, and gore. They haven't hit each other with steel chairs. They haven't sat there and burned each other's house down. That we could just have a good fucking feud in wrestling, and we have some good matches that build two guys the fuck up.
Yeah. Like, and again, I grew up in an era where like rivalries went on forever. Like, you hated the certain guy and they always went at each other. They never became friends. Yeah.
Yo!
What is the point of this?
1,
10,000 streaming.
2. Yes, I do have some unresolved feelings. They remind me of ring steps. I don't know.
It would never be over.
The thing is, sometimes you just have like, did everyone sit there when you were looking at Kevin Steen and El Generico and sit there and wonder, well, what's the payoff? No, you were building up a fucking feud tale as old as time and shit like that.
Yes. We have whole documentaries on A&E based on rivalries. You need to fight once.
There's no tomorrow. There's no tomorrow. Yeah, you need to do it.
I like it.
That's the thing, is like we've talked about they need to establish, feuds and stories and everything past just the main title scene. We've had people you bitch about that, it's only the bloodline that featured, but we feature other people, and you're like, well, what's the payoff? What's the end? Why are we doing this?
People make my head hurt. But LA Knight, Prophet Carmelo gonna fuck up this match. Maybe this leads to a triple threat.
That could be a very much a potential. Yeah. I thought that was honestly before we're getting to game 6 and everything. I thought we're gonna get here is Carmelo sneaks the win. And now this makes sense. Now it makes sense. Carmelo's got the win here. Now you get to game 7. Then you've got LA Knight, who Carmelo just took out of nowhere to start off this whole segment. That
now Andrade's mad at LA now, though. This is what we got in the first segment. This is what we got in the second segment. This is what we're getting in the third segment. Animosity, storytelling, building rivalries,
tension. You have back and forth. You have people actually feeling like they're competing for spots. They're competing for position.
Yes.
How can you watch 6 hours of running through the history of WWE and everything like that and go through the whole history of like the Attitude Era and even bringing up Nitro and all of that and still be remiss and still not be able to figure out sometimes you do feuds and shit like that, and you what sells is you build up tension throughout your roster. We've said this multiple times of everything from the top of the bottom to the bottom of the card, had something involved into it, had a story, had something going with it. So everything felt compelling.
100%. And again, schmozz finished, but it's supposed to be. The heel stole a win, got over on 2 baby faces at once, and now the baby faces are irritated with each other. Perfect. That is good writing. I get it. We didn't have a burning table or a fucking hypodermic needle, but that roll-up makes sense because he didn't get pinned. He didn't get laid out. Now we're going for match number 7. I love it. Perfect.
Right? As we literally go from it's so, and this is what we love. Like, trust me, I know we're sounding all hot and bothered and everything and having the back and forth, but this is 100% what we love and having the whole discourse on all of this. Of going with 4-4 saying that's was super predictable though. Oh yeah, it's right. Right. Well, then we go from there to I'm interested in where this LA Andrade Melo feud is. To me, like, you can say what you were saying. It was such a juxtaposition, and they're both right.
And 100%. And again, predictable is not a problem. Going to the movies, the hero's probably going to win the movie. Spider-Man will be victorious. Fucking the Avengers will avenge. But it's how you get it. And I actually think Carmelo's going to go over in the 7th match. And then he goes after LA. It's his turn. But I don't know.
Still find it funny that they managed to pull off a best of 7 series, snuck it under the rug on us, got us in like compelled by it, and they're not forming a tag team, and they didn't make us, they didn't overstay their welcome with it being a best of 7.
Yeah, and again, they didn't beat you over the head with it. Like, it organically became a reason to keep doing it, right? And again, like in hockey, for the longest time, they had this like everybody plays everybody idea. And what they did was they went back to divisional play because you know what
Mhm.
fans love the most? Rivalries. They want to see you play your division 6, 7, 8 times and play. You know, if you want to go out to Calgary twice a year, so be it. But we want the rivalries. We want Toronto, Montreal. We want Toronto, Ottawa, Toronto, Boston. That's what we're looking for in this shit. And that's where, again, I mean, I'm kind of on the same vibe of KO right now. KO's not happy in the locker room at all.
I missed what he was saying. I came down with the hot shoes.
Right. But ladies and gentlemen, we head into another commercial break. Having a fun night already, an hour and a half into this one. Holy shit, time is up flying. Having a lot of fun, having a lot of good debate with the chat, but keep it coming. Let's keep it going, and let's see if you can be a friend, tell a friend. And in that spirit, I'm going to go find some friends. I'll be right back, sir.
All right. As KJ's taking a pause for the cause, is like he said, we are in a commercial break right now. We're about to, I believe, coming up out of this. Michin taking on Piper Niven, which is still setting up of Michin Mia Yim taking on Chelsea Green in a dumpster match, which that's also happening in Nashville. I remember now because of goddamn Michael Cole having his whole conniption and everything about all of that. But yeah, so on top of getting a trios ladder match for the tag belts, we're also going to be getting a dumpster match between Mia Yim and Chelsea Green next week on SmackDown here. Do you think Andrade is going to be heel? Maybe eventually. I mean, he's kind of been that quite a bit recently. He's always got a little bit of that look to him that he could always turn heel at any moment. He's got that Randy Orton effect, or I guess even that Kevin Owens effective. Looks like they could be a heel at any moment, but I don't know. KJ and KO on the same vibe. Wow, I'm shocked. Absolutely, yeah, 100%. A family that flocks together stays together. Toronto has beef with Boston. I got your back, buddy. What is this? Gondor calls for aid? What are the fucking Game of Thrones, the fucking Lord of the Rings are we doing here? But I will say, Bailey Sellers, hello everyone. SmackDown is pretty good tonight. Absolutely. So far, I think SmackDown is where through just past the first hour here has been really good, has very much hit all the strides. I know it was somebody saying the other night that SmackDown might have been it might have been last week of taking stuff off or what have you before they went to USA. But no, I think they 100% they've now hit the ground running with a lot of this. But I will also remind everybody we are the Wrestling for Life Network. We do this for anything and everything when it comes to pro wrestling. We were just here last night doing 2 parts. We covered the whole Mr. McMahon documentary in 2 sections. So we did the part 1 is episodes 1, 2, and 3, and then part 2 is episodes 4, 5, and 6. So make sure you go ahead and check that out 100%. If you haven't seen it or once you see that, go and watch that. But we're back at it like a jackrabbit tomorrow for Collision Grand Slam, I guess, at this point, because it's everything that they didn't fit on Dynamite. And then Monday Night Raw, we've got the go-home show for Bad Blood. We've got, the last monster standing. We've got Braun Strowman versus Bronson Reed. Tuesday, we've got the debut of NXT on the CW out there in Chicago. We're going to have a street fight between Wesley and Christ, why am I blanking? Zachary Wentz. And then we're also still going to be kicking off the show with Julia versus Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship. We've got Ethan Page taking on Trick Williams with CM Punk as the special guest referee. Wednesday, we've got the 5-year anniversary of Dynamite. We've got Ricochet versus Ospreay. 100%. Nobody covers more live wrestling than we do. Often imitated, never replicated, never duplicated. We do what we do because other people can't do what we do. And there's my long-winded spiel. As I breathe. Bad Blood is on my birthday next week. Well, Billy, happy early birthday, my guy. My birthday was last weekend, so shout out to everybody with, oh, no, you being in October. I was going to say shout out to everybody with the September birthdays, but shout out to everybody with the fall birthdays. We're back, but what in the video package are we getting? AJ Styles. Oh, we're getting to, everybody's been talking about it and everybody's been wondering about why they've been using him. His contract might be up, all of this discourse and everything like that, but we're getting a video package for AJ Styles. And you add him now into Carmelo, you add him into Andrade, you add him into LA Knight. Christ, you will even add in a Nakamura. And that sounds like a nice little mid-card division. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a nice little mid-card division. But AJ Styles returning next Friday. So again, we're stacking up these shows in advance now. We've now got it to the point to where we can give you a hell of a show, and we can still let you know we're going to have that freshness next week and everything. And that's, again, that's what we do here with the Wrestling for Life Network. But yeah, now it's here the wrestling. Fill that out. Excuse me, is 100% fantastic to see, and especially because there's been so much of the whole discourse and everything like that. When it comes to AJ Styles and his whole contract negotiations and where he might be at and everything. 44 saying, I do believe there's a slight bias, which is fine, but I guess agreeing to disagree is the best way to go. This is fun. Fair enough, my guy. I mean, if you want to call it a bias, I mean, we'll even acknowledge that we have a bias towards certain, people, this, that, and the third. But I'll say we watch more live wrestling than anybody else out there. So you can call it a bias, or you can call it an opinion. You do you, however you want to do you. What in the fucking hell is Chelsea Green out here with? Like, is this like a goddamn chloroform rag or something? Like, she's out here just walking with an oven or a workman's glove and a cloth. Oh, because she's got to block the smell of what's in the trash bin. Like, what? I mean, we're bigging up the whole dumpster gimmick, so that's fine. But yeah, it was a little comical, but I mean, it fits with Chelsea Green. As we're getting a replay of, was this it was the digital exclusive of Piper taking out Mission last week here. Who's getting Wendy's for bad blood? I recommend the pretzel pub cheeseburger. Christian, fair enough. Hashtag not sponsored. I'm always a sucker for a Baconator, but you're gonna have that. Mission wins. Me in for the win. So yes, folks, let me know who you're taking right now. Whether you're taking Piper Niven or you're taking, that's how you gotta say it. Whether you're taking Piper Niven or you're taking me in Mission here for the win. As for half a second, I thought homie in the Vegeta outfit there at the front row, I thought that was goddamn Mike Santana. But Wendy's spicy nuggets are dope. We can go into a whole commercial break thing if we're going to talk about fast food and everything. The next members only stream and everything like that, which by the way, 100% make sure you become a member. When we do, the Baking Club streams, you get access to anything and everything. You get access to exclusive content, all the emojis, priority when it comes to get your comments read and everything like that, 100%. So make sure you become a member. But yeah, next Baking Club session or something like that, we'll go through best fast food or some shit like that. But yeah, honestly, I've become much more of a fan of the Wendy's nuggets than I have even honestly the McDonald's nuggets. At this point, the only thing I really like McDonald's for is goddamn fries. I say Mia looking spicy. There you go, Dale. Artist curly fries overall. Again, Seymour, BK fries, when they hit, they hit. But depends on if you want to count Five Guys fries as fast food. But we are in commercial break as we got the cannonball on the outside from Piper Niven. Nick would be upset at Michael Cole if he made jokes about the Buffalo Bills. Fair enough. Well, I mean, Christ, half of y'all do it at this point. And if you don't think you do it, then I know KJ and Anthony. Well, Anthony is kind of a Bills fan, so I know KJ will do it. And I know even all of my friends and everything will do it. So I'm used to it at this point. That comes with the territory of being a Bills fan. Here we are in commercial break again. See, go Bills! Did you know Wendy's brought back the spicy nuggets because of Chance the Rapper? I did not know that. Do tell or not. But we are in commercial break, folks. So 100%, if you haven't done so already, be a friend, tell a friend. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Massage that algorithm out there. As we're tiptoeing ever so closer to 6K subscribers and still constantly moving, constantly growing, constantly. And speaking of nuggets and speaking of spicy food and everything like that, we do have a few tricks up our sleeves and everything like that. So 100%, you're going to want to make sure you hit that, bell notification. There we go. As if you speak about it, the production team will pull it back up there and everything like that. But we do have our own little take on, like hot ones and everything like that. We got our own spicy, king of the wing and everything going on out there. Of you're gonna see me, Anthony, and KJ all out there, seeing who can do the best when it comes to eating wrestling or doing wrestling trivia while eating spicy wings and everything like that. So trust me, you think it's we mess up worse now. Imagine after we've eaten 15,000 Scoville units and all of that. Then we're really going to be out here stuttering and stammering and everything. Well, 100%, we still got that cooking all along here. He got 2 million likes on a tweet requesting Wendy's bring back the spicy nuggets. And voila. Well, then, goddamn it, let's see if we can make that shit happen out here. Let's see if we can get 2 million likes on this stream or some shit. But we about to go 4-0. Jobson, fair enough. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to remember who. Remind me who we're playing this week. I know we just took on Jacksonville. Who are we playing this week? Hot Ones was here last week in Buffalo. There you go. There you go. I mean, home of the wing. I shouldn't have clicked on that, Roddy. It's more what did he do? Did he do it? Did he do it? Did he do it? I thought it was supposed to be Chelsea Green in this match because wasn't she the one training a few weeks ago? Torso or Torkel? Maybe you have a dorsal, but yeah. Next week's where we get the dumpster match between Chelsea Green and Mia Yim or Mission. So next week is where you get the payoff for her training with the dumpsters and everything. Christ, the most I saw of her going around this today and everything was we play the Ravens. Yeah, shit, that's gonna be tough. But the most I saw was Chelsea Green having to stick her head out the window because Cardona broke wind. It'll be a great idea to do, but the wings have to be super hot. Jimmy, well, we got you. We got you covered, my guy. Trust me. We ain't letting all the details out because, trust me, we've talked about this. Often imitated, never replicated, never duplicated. So we can't let all the secrets out before we do everything. We're just going to give it a nice little tease. Little dabble do you, 100%. As we're back in action as Piper right now in control. And I see why the Wendy's talk, because they're showing up the advertisement of Morgan and Wendy's here as Piper goes for the splash. Nobody home. 2018 they played when Peterman started for the Bills. Remember, Josh was a rookie. Fair enough, Jobson. I'm sure that the Bills and Ravens have played multiple times before then and post then. Did you watch the interview Liv yesterday? Just hope people should appreciate her and not hate. 316. I get it. I appreciate you. I understand you really like Liv. But maybe he's up a little bit. You guys are really cooking. I'm already liking the whole idea, man. I mean, that sounds great. Fair enough. We got you. Trust me. We already know he's cooking out here in this kitchen, my guy. But I appreciate it 100%. As Mia Yim right now in control. I have a hard time calling her Mission. Mia Yim just fits way better. Rolls off the tongue better. Pause. Live man, are you in Zach Hood's Fed? I could answer if I knew who Zach Hood was. I know I'm in the Hood, D.A. Hood, but I don't know about Zach Hood. As we get a 2 count from Piper, and we get a 2 count on screen.
Who's in the hood? Speaking of
I
hood.
don't know. I got asked from Lineman 1 saying, "Are you in Zach Hood's Fed?" And that's when I said, "I don't know, but I know I'm in Dud, DA Hood."
Let's go.
As Piper going up top here, you can't almost. It's kind of hard not to say Piper Niven in not like a Scottish accent.
It's hard. It's one of those ones.
It's like ogres have layers. You can't do it. You can't say donkey now if you watch Shrek without a Scottish accent.
Here it is. Blocked.
1, 2, kick out. Well, and we hadn't talked about this, but I realized it after you had walked away and everything because of this match of that next week, also in Nashville, on top of the ladder matches where we're getting the dumpster match between Mission and Chelsea Green.
Yeah. And I like that, like, now the mid-card ladies have something to do. And we're getting a really good match right now between Mission and Nivens.
Again, I've never seen people get, like, I've never understood why people will get mad when, like, depth throughout the whole show has a reason behind it. Like, a show shouldn't have moments you want to skip past. You don't want to watch. You can't miss. I like now where wrestling's at us to where we can't take a pause because we don't want to miss some cool shit.
As Chelsea distracts the ref, Nivens goes into a garbage can at the side of the ring. Sets her up.
I like the little drop and pot shot there to the jaw as Mia Yim picks up the win.
Meet the feet for the win.
Right. 3-0. Brandon asked a really good point. Yeah.
Here's another example of, like, you see people on the internet. The WWE's done with AJ Styles. They're letting him go. They're parting ways. Next thing on SmackDown, they didn't just bring AJ back. They gave us a cool little hype package for him. Let's go. I was pumped.
100%. I was not expecting it. Literally, we were just off. We were in a commercial and everything like that. You were taking a pause and we were just talking about this, that, and the third. And all of a sudden, everything's kind of bluish and you got a guy walking around with a hood. I'm like, this is AJ here.
Yeah, I like what they're doing. Again, I like that guys are coming in and out. Like, we're not just getting AJ. AJ goes away for a little bit. When he comes back, we missed him. Hey, AJ's back. And then, maybe a guy like KO goes a little quiet at some point, or a Randy's had in and outs, right? Like, it's not about constantly shoving the same people down our throat, which the dub was. I mean, we would talk about Roman, how often he would, like, now that Roman is in and out, people cheer for Roman when he's not there.
100. Well, and even when Randy was interviewed and asked and talking about
next week.
Yeah. So they announced the heel return, and then we've got that on top of the dumpster match and the ladder match. But even when Randy got interviewed and talking about the switch between Vince being in charge and Hunter being in charge of, oh, cool, so you had your kid born and everything, so you can go and actually take some time off. Like, that's why people thought Mike Rome got let go from NXT, because he was sitting there being home and actually being a father and everything. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, and I think that that's played out perfectly. And now you add AJ into the U.S. title scene. You add a Nakamura into that title scene. That's a solid ass little mid card you got there.
Runneth over, my guy. As we are getting a hype package for next week's ladder match, will be for the titles. DIY, the Bloodline, and Street Profits all got to climb that ladder and grab those belts, Nikki.
Right, and I gotta go grab paper napkins and everything like that because thy cup runneth over here. So I will be back soon.
BS fast count. I would cheer if Orange Cassidy would go away. Again, I think that, like, I defended, like, if you guys go back a while, there was once upon a time when they booked Orange Cassidy Ospreay. Nick's a big Ospreay fan, like a lot of us are, and was really upset that, on Cassidy. And I defended Cassidy because I think Cassidy does have some in-ring talent. Like, I think he's capable. And that match with Ospreay really did prove that he could go. But it's been 5 years of week in and week out. Same thing with Jericho. I might not hate Jericho as much if he would just take a nap, go away, fuck off for a little bit, And then when you come back, it means something. But it's been like Moxley's been one of the better ones. And I know not all of it was his choice, but like Moxley leaving, coming back, Moxley leaving, coming back. He doesn't feel shoved down my throat the way an Orange Cassidy is or others have been. Yo, we're in the main event already, folks. I don't know if it's the vitamins or what, but tonight seemed to fly on the fuck by. Sid would disappear to play. Yeah, one of the most infamous things ever is Sid refused to miss his softball. So again, you need people to take breaks. And I think when you have such a robust roster, it is a good opportunity. Like when Nakamura comes back, people are gonna pop. AJ coming back, you're gonna pop, you're gonna react, and then other people take a back burner. Not everybody can, like, if you only got 2 hours on a Friday, 3 hours on a Monday, you can't have everybody always. Not everybody can be at the top. Like, I know my buddy Anthony's a little upset about Naomi right now. She's taking some L's. She does need her just dues. But look what just happened with Jay, right? Look at all the people that rode Jay Uso off. Jay never wins. They bury Jay. But Jay just stuck around, got over with the fans. By the time he wins, everyone can't wait. And now he's in the crowd and everybody's losing their mind. It's no different than we saw with other wrestlers, like a year in the making, 2 years in the making, where they had to work towards that moment. And I think, again, patience. Patience is becoming the name of the game all over again. We got a whole year of content to fill, and they're going to take their time. They're going to stretch things out. Roman, we haven't even seen Roman or heard about Roman tonight. Roman will be back. And then here we go again. It is about ebbs and flows. It's 2 hours on Monday. Yes. Bed early on a Monday. I said it many times that Mike hadn't been let go. And yet it kept being said. Listen, I will give you, and Don, I appreciate this because one of the most disgusting moments for that kind of thing. Remember when Bray stepped away? He was in the midst of, he was going to have the WrestleMania match with Bodley, and people wrote, he walked out. He's having issues with creative. What do you mean he's having issues with creative? He has his own creative people, and people reported it. People talk, oh, he's leaving. The man was dealing with health issues and eventually went on to pass in one of the most tragic, sad moments of my YouTube career here. It was heartbreaking that happened, yet people can't help themselves. And time and time again, oh, AJ's done. Now we're getting promos packages for AJ. Now what? Oh, okay, he changed his mind. No, you just don't know, and you're making shit up. And that's an ongoing, I mean, it's not just wrestling that happens with. It happens in a lot of regards. Do you think we need a mid-card title for the women? I do. I've been advocating for that for a long time. I think there's enough depth in that division. And I actually think somebody like Naomi would be wonderful as like the first ever mid-card women's champion. There's just so many women. And you look at the women they're developing in NXT, like NXT could almost be an all-ladies show because there's so many good women there. And they just added, they saw Julia come in. We know Stephanie's coming. Nikita's supposed to be coming back. Cora's supposed to be coming back. You already got Rocks. And there's so much talent. I think you could do it. I think you could. Is AJ coming back face? I don't know. Now, that package didn't really tell us much, but I don't know. First, a women's dumpsters match, and now a triple threat ladder match for WWE tag team titles. Sign me. Yeah, we're looking for fun. The night before Bad Blood. That's the kicker of it all is on Friday, we get a really nice card. It's really shaping out nicely. It's going to be a lot of intrigue, and it's the go-home show for Bad Blood. Monday, same thing. Bronson Reed against Braun Strowman. The battle of the monsters, last monster standing. A lot of intrigue on Monday. Go-home show So, again, a lot going on. And I'll be honest, I'm excited for next week. In general, NXT is going to be in Chicago. It's going to be a crazy crowd. Punk's going to be there. Stack card. Wednesday, we're going to be here live for the five years of AEW Dynamite. And I will say this. Congratulations. Whether you love or hate AEW, they changed the industry at a time that it needed changed, and they survived 5 years. I don't care what the reasons are. That is a commendable achievement. 5 years solid as one of the competing brands. And even if you want to brush them off. And as much as I've been super critical in 2024 about AEW, I'm grateful for what Tony has done to the business. And 5 years solid, I'm looking forward to that. Ricochet, Osprey, we got lots, man. Again, I think if a lot of fans could just take a deep breath and just watch as if they don't know what letters are involved in the company, we'd be good to go. And again, just critique the wrestling in front of you as it's delivered. As I got Bianca and Jade talking about going to Atlanta. A title should be only at stake in a ladder match when the title is vacant. Remember, a title can change hands in a pinfall or submission, not a race for the belt. I disagree with that. And there's a lot of cases that hasn't been the case. So keep that in mind. Again, this isn't the first ladder match for a title. It will not be the last. Even in the past with some of the most famous of ladder matches, it wasn't for a vacant title. So I don't really agree with that. Would you be Max Cast? No. My Halloween costumes always involve the beard. How do I incorporate the beard into the costume? Naomi and Bailey in the back. Oh, but Naomi's being nice. You're happy you beat me. I'd be happy too. Are we surprised or is this a front? I don't know. How do you guys feel? Yep, that's correct. And he earned it. Oh, they love each other. Watch the face. Oh, okay, she's smiling. Okay, that seemed genuine. Except Tiffany just ruined her mood. I need Nick and Anthony to have a Tiffy-Naomi debate. Women's Intercontinental title. Yeah, I'm good. Absolutely. And I thought at one point, because the men's division didn't really have a lot going on in the mid card, that you could have almost given one of the two, like literally take one of the men's titles and give it to the women. I don't necessarily feel that way anymore, but I do think that there is an opportunity. Like if Naomi was to win a mid card title and take on the Missions and the Pipers and the Chelseas, maybe even the Tiffys, even though I think Tiffany's going to eventually become world champion sooner than later. But here comes Kevin Owens. Yo, what's up, Vance? I have nothing against the women's tag titles, but it's time to retire them and give us a women's mid card. I don't think you need to retire. I actually think the women's tag team division is more interesting than the men's tag team division right now. And you guys can think I'm crazy, but I kind of like what they're doing and the fact that they could go to NXT and defend them, because there's one. I think if there was two women's instead of the women's tag titles, too much. So I think you can kind of get away with it, but I do see your point. If you end up adding two mid cards, are you then saturating it too much? I don't know, but I do think that the women's tag title has been a little bit interesting. I like Jade and Bianca as a team. I love Unholy Union. I like the Sky Pirates. So I do think there's a little bit of something there with this division. Here comes Randy Orton. DIY become tag team champs next week because Roman cost the bloodline. I don't know. That's good. Did you see Kiana James upgrade pick yet? No, I had not. Nikita Lyons return to the ring tonight. Yeah, someone else mentioned that, Fred. I think that's really cool. Again, for my money, I'm kind of predisposed to be a fan of Nikita Lyons. But she has a lot of proving to do. Can she be durable? Can she be consistent? Is there more to her than just big hips and some moves? Can she go? Can she get in there? Can she progress? And can she be captivating? Is she able to cut a promo and be strong and hang? Again, we talk about there is a multitude of talent in WWE. Can she battle? Can she flow with it? Time will tell. If she's back and healthy, great. I hope she stays that way. AJ Styles versus John Cena WrestleMania. I'm in. I'd be happy with that. Run that back. 5 years ago, AEW Dynamite debuted with 1.4 million viewers. Now they struggle to 7K. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, C Money. And I mean, I've been on the record and very vocal about that for a long time. Putting all that aside, They made it 5 years. That's a start. They're still here. Can they turn it around? I think they can. But I think the biggest issue I'm struggling with is, A, the owner doesn't believe in long-term storytelling, so that's a problem, and you can tell. But beyond that, it's, again, MVP going to AEW. I'm like, 5 years ago, I didn't want to see that, right? Yeah, you got Moxley because Moxley was cooking. Grabbing FTR, they were cooking. That's great. This underutilized talent, Malachi Black, underutilized. So it was a land of places. It was a land of wrestlers that were not being used well by Vince. Now it doesn't feel that way anymore. And just continuing to bring in old WWE talent, Adam Copeland. No offense, I love Edge, Toronto boy, but you got young. Build from within. Build around from within. You got Osprey, you got MJF, you got Swerve now, and I do consider Swerve a little homegrown because WWE did nothing quality with them. So I do think there's a lot of people there. Hangman Page shows signs of being able to go and do his thing. Kenny hopefully comes back at some point. Stop overusing the ones you love, the Mercedes Monets, the Jerichos, the Bucks. Those people aren't drawing you money. Use the talent in-house that can bring money in. MVP is not going to make ticket sales go up. Bobby Lashley, not going to make ticket sales go up. But at the end of the day, all the numbers aside, it's been 5 years of competition, 5 years of something to talk about. And for the last 2.5 years, I've been able to come on here and debate what wrestling company is doing well and what's not, and having a lot of fun conversation about it. So, yes, I completely agree with you. Been on the record for a long time about it. It bothers me because I remember the good old days when the arenas were packed, and I was popping to the fact that, oh shit, Adam Cole's here. Holy shit, Daniel Bryan's with him separately. Yeah, I mean, there was big moments like that. CM Punk's debut. Rampage does over 1 million. The building's going crazy. Now, MVP walks out of the tunnel without even a song, and the few thousand people that were there were like, oh, we'll figure it out who it was. It's starting to build from within. That's what the WWE was able to do during the Attitude Era. That's what they're doing now. Build your own stars. And they aren't. Braun Strowman versus Bronson Reed in a monster mash. They did the mash. They were just going to sing it right out. The monster mash. KJ NWA got Shockwave January. It's over Twitter. NWA, Nick and I kind of gave up on NWA. I was a big advocate of NWA. We covered a lot of NWA shows. The Crockett Cup was a big deal for us. And they just went downhill. They started booking gimps and weirdos, and it lost everything. And then we were here last year at this time for Sandheim, and that was a shit show, infamous for the James Mitchell spot. NWA, again, another example of the booker just lost the plot, and the original mission statement got lost. And again, I'd rather watch MLW than NWA right now. It's time to bring back the damn hardcore and cruiserweight titles, but put that purple bullish on. I don't know that they'll ever officially bring back the hardcore title, Joe. I could see Triple H trying something with a cruiserweight division again. Vince never understood the cruiserweights, and when they did the light heavyweights, it was simply little guys fighting like the big guys. Same style, not like, I think there's a better understanding of what you could do with a cruiserweight division with someone like Triple H. I'm going to buy 2 wrestling belts next week. Nice, Billy. It's not a midlife crisis. It's actually a springtime of youth. That's worth something. All right. DMD versus Deeb as well. It was 5-year anniversary. Interesting matchup. I like both ladies to varying degrees. Should be a fun match. I hope they do well. Naomi went from Sega Dreamcast to Uno. Yeah. As we're getting another hype package for Raw, every year I'm OP from Sons of Anarchy. That's a good way to go, bro. What is your thoughts on the Vince series? Lisa, we did a 2-part review. It is live on the channel. The Cole note of what we thought. I thought it was a good book report on the WWE. I thought it was a good documentary overall. I didn't dislike it. I feel like their marketing was misleading, though, and that was my problem. They made it feel like they were going to be super salacious and paint Vince like they were going to back Vince into a corner, and People were it was nothing groundbreaking. Most of everything was already public knowledge. Yes, to varying degrees. Like certain fans out there might have not known some of the older stuff, but up through it all, as we're getting a replay of Cody and Roman from last week. But yeah, I mean, I think they oversold the salacious side of things to get clicks, and it didn't deliver. That's my only take on it. But overall, I thought it's a good little. If you want to get a nice history of kind of the evolution of WWE, they did a very good job about that. I just don't think the Mr. McMahon documentary was accurate. It wasn't deep into Vince. I didn't learn anything really new about Vince. Just all the same shit that was already kind of said. That match is on next week. Dynamite. Damien, yes. Yeah. Wednesday. Naomi needs to drop the glow shit. I don't necessarily disagree with that. Maybe that's where you heel turn her and take the glow away. All right. But Randy, RKO are in the ring. Randy, NKO, the bloodline for the win. I guess I should shoot that up in a poll right now real quick. But who do you got, folks? Who are you taking in the main event tonight?
Hello. Yeah, and well, and I heard you even talking about the Vince documentary. That's very much that was a documentary made for if you don't watch wrestling, if you're not an avid wrestling fan, that's the documentary for you. Because us as wrestling fans, we've seen that half a dozen times. We talked about this, like that's why we were even going into doing the reviews of like. So what are we going to talk about of everything that we know about? We spent more time talking about Cena with "You Can't See Me" than we were talking about, Pat Patterson allegedly grabbing PPs.
I wanted to say that was all you were going to
I wanted, and Tony Atlas is the MVP of that fucking documentary.
I have no problem with the documentary. My issue was the way they marketed it didn't match the delivery of it. That was my only issue.
Well, I'm gonna market you on whatever I gotta do to get you into the seats.
Yeah. But again, I wanted a little more of a Making a Murderer, Tiger King, like let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's interview some crackheads and figure out what's really going on.
Right. Yeah, but that's everything too, though, that you feel like they coulda, shoulda, woulda touched on. They like, nope, moving past.
That was my issue. And again, it was because it was presented as the McMahon documentary. If it was just like the WWE documentary, like it just didn't sell me on a real in-depth look into Vince. It was a very public view of Vince, and most of it we knew. And again, if you didn't like him, you still don't like him. If you like them,
that's initially what they were doing.
Yeah,
that's why everything went haywire when they even pointed out within the first 5 minutes of breaking news and this and that stopped Vince doing any sort of interviews. All of that WWE was initially involved and then wasn't. I know as we're underway with this match, but I know Bill Simmons and one of the guys, I can't remember his name, he was in the documentary, but two of the people that pretty much helped create the documentary did a podcast and everything talking about how they put it together, the production behind it and everything. And I really want to take that in because what I saw from some of the quotes, they had some, like, Vince is still an interesting character, even beyond what you see on camera. They were talking about the man's like pretty much just wired 24/7.
Yeah. I agree with you, Big Dog. This is a hell of a fucking main event.
Right.
We get Solo and Fatu taking on RKO. And again, I'm dying for KO Jacob one-on-one. We'll have to wait for that one, but we're off and running.
100%. And I do think that that's a match that's ultimately going to happen. Like that needs to happen.
Ooh, there was a Wyatt sign behind Naomi. I like it. They keep teasing the Wyatts on SmackDown. It's very interesting.
I think they just kind of keep teasing the Wyatts. Period.
Yeah, but it's weird. Like they've been all on Raw, but we keep getting little symbols and teases on SmackDown, like placement on purpose. So it begs the question of why.
Fair enough.
AW tickets need to be free. They're almost
I need
there.
an episode of Tiger King with Tony Atlas. Fuck is you talking about? That tiger tried to grab my pecker. Tony, he was so great with that, and Brett was fantastic. Brett is just the saltiest human being of all time.
Yeah.
And
Brett.
I saw somebody too that brought up this point of, I know Bruce didn't come out looking the greatest out of that and everything, but also how many other people did they ask to do that and didn't do it? That said no, that Bruce at least went out there and was actually asked the questions and was on record with that shit.
And Bruce didn't say that Vince never did anything wrong. All Bruce said is he was nice to me. And a lot of people said that. Even like, look at Mark Calloway was like, you know, like he's like a father figure. What is he?
Like, yeah. Well, and like I said, the biggest like last minute thing as Randy backdrops Jacob on the table and he no sells it. You ain't doing that to the werewolf, my guy.
No, not today. As Jacob, holy shit, clearing off the table. Randy looking over his shoulder,
bounce it off, and I'm gonna bounce off again. I'm gonna keep going until this table breaks. I am the table.
But I love
Matthew,
it.
Where are you?
Randy putting the kid in his
now Solo gets it.
Oh, Solo's head on the monitor.
Yeah. As we go to commercial break, as Tony's saying, I celebrate another trip around the sun tomorrow. Well, happy early birthday, my guy.
Happy birthday, friend. And I think someone else said Bad Blood was on their birthday. So happy early birthday. We will be here live for Bad Blood. As right now we are in this main event, guys, and it's crazy.
Right. Absolutely. But yeah, we were talking about how Brucey out there still even stood up and was at least, you know, willing to be involved with the documentary and everything, even though a lot of his other peers and constituents, like, where was Gerald Briscoe? Where was where was anybody else like that? Out there answering questions.
People made it like, I know certain people out there actually like publicly were like, I can't believe they didn't talk to me. Like, I mean, I like know JR. That's an interesting one because he was the head of talent relations. Like, hey, JR, you were in charge of the talent.
Would have had to reach out to AEW and they would have had to get involved in everything.
That's fine, because it's not a WWE product. So that's one has nothing to do with the other.
WWE had say in this. They gave them access to the library. No, Bill Simmons literally even sat there and said that they were involved and gave them access to it. This was initially supposed to be a regular Vince documentary, and then all the charges and everything hit the light of day and everything.
Yeah, but I mean, again, they sold us. The problem with the documentary for me, like, I know you said it was a waste. It wasn't a waste of 6 hours. I mean, again, it's no.
I never said it was a waste. I never said that. Oh, okay. I was like, all right.
Yeah. But I mean, again, they marketed the whole series on the last 20 minutes of the sixth episode. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna sell your ass to watch the fucking finale of fucking Endgame. Teases you on the end of the fucking Avengers and everything.
But again, the Avengers lived up to the hype. The movie itself was good. So that's the problem. That's where it felt like a little bit of a letdown was. You didn't really give us anything new.
I'd be interested to see more of a non-wrestling fan's perspective that watches this, because to some of the stuff, like even the Ring Boy scandal and all of that, is probably breaking news to them. They've never heard that. That's the only thing I think where you could even get something of your opinion on Vince might change. But
even that they didn't get too much into, so that's the problem with the documentary, dude. I'm not saying that people couldn't learn something from it. I understand that because of my love for wrestling, I knew a lot of it. But I'm saying if you were a new fan, you learned a lot about WWE. It wasn't a Mr. McMahon expose. That's the dilemma. That's my dilemma.
Well, no, and I get that, and I feel like I 100% hear that the way that they advertised it was on the last minutes and everything like that, because that became the whole, yeah, I know. I thought that for half a second. I almost said it, and then I stopped real quick. But with it was initially intended to be something entirely different than what they sold it as. I will say that.
Yeah. What's the average price of an AEW ticket these days? $30.
No,
honestly, when they came to Canada, they priced themselves out, and people didn't buy them because of it. When you do a show in Toronto and then do a show in Hamilton, and they're expensive as fuck, people didn't go, and they had a big problem in Ontario.
They're coming to Manchester, New Hampshire soon, because I keep seeing advertisements for it and everything. And I actually looked at the tickets of. Well, it would be interesting to actually go into where be the first time I wouldn't have to travel, 3+ hours and everything like that to sit there and go to an AEW show. But even like mid-tier seats and everything were triple digits. Like you're easily minimum triple digits with that. And that's I don't know how I feel spending that on something. I don't know the card leading into and everything, and I'm getting mid-level ass seats.
Kevin Owen getting decimated by 2 Samoan hips. Gilly's on the good tonight? Because again, another silly comment. And again, specifically about house show attendance. No, we're talking about the actual show attendance, your pay-per-view attendance, your Dynamite attendance, because AEW doesn't do house shows. But you look at SmackDown tonight, packed house. That's what we're talking about. So saying that nobody can afford tickets, they've sold out 34 times this year, 34 sellouts this year. That's what we're comparing. That's the issue with only selling 2,000 tickets to a show, my guy.
Right. I may not agree with the ticket prices, what have you, and everything like that. But I mean, granted, you're going to do 51,000, all of that for the ultra VIP super front row package in Las Vegas and everything like that. 100%. It's Vegas. It's the front row. It's the VIP package for WrestleMania. If someone's going to pay it, do it. But you're going to see that balance out at some point. If eventually people aren't going to pay past a certain price. They're like, just because someone else will pay it and I won't. I mean, good on them. They got someone that'll pay it.
I worked in the hockey industry. Go figure. And when Bauer, one of the biggest hockey companies in the world, arguably the biggest, they started new skates and they started charging $600, $700, $800, $900. And we were sitting in one of the meetings and we said, when are you going to stop raising the prices? And their answer was when people stop paying it. And that's no different than anything in business and marketing. And that's the thing was, as long as people continue to fill the seats, if you do 34 sellouts, you're not really internally worried about the price. There is a level where they won't hit, but when they do it in gradual increments, people almost don't notice that it's slightly going up.
Well, and it's almost a testament that someone will still pay that and everything. Like there is still going to be a ceiling that they hit when they hit it and everything. But hey, we still get to watch it on, pay-per-view on the Peacock and everything right now. And again, I know we joke about with wrestling fans speak with Twitter and everything like that, but the real way you speak as a wrestling fan is with your wallet. Where you're going to spend your dollars, where you're going to spend your money, spend your time and everything like that. And that's why we appreciate everybody that spends any time with us. That shit's invaluable, and that speaks volumes across every company.
Yeah.
As Kevin Owens reaching for the tag. Can I get it? Turn around every now and then. I get it. Tag in a Randy Orton.
Won't let it happen. And see, I like good old tag match. Tag, let's go.
All right, I'll hiccup.
3, 4, 5. Pushes him off. Then clothesline by Randy. Randy just on a next level. Just having fun.
Oh, he's reached that tier of just, again, like you said, of I'm just relaxed. I am having fun with it. Did you get the vintage Randy Orton side slam there?
Or the breaking news, yes, they are. I guess I should have mentioned that when they did the package for it.
Oh, I got Randy slamming Jacob. Are you there?
Vintage Randy Orton.
All right. I got him booting solo. Wow. I don't know how I got ahead of you. I somehow did. I apologize. Breaking news.
Yeah, no.
Breaking news: Jade and Bianca are hosting Bad Blood.
Yep. Yeah, they did a promo for it. Like a promo package. Samoan drop. Down goes Randy. Good match. Why not? Who gives a fuck? What do they need?
Right.
They don't. But they have a chance to put two of their big stars on the show for no particular reason. I don't give a fuck. Doesn't change anything for me. Well, it's silly. I mean, who cares? They don't need it. But
I'm trying to remember if it will. I know Bianca has the ties to Tennessee and everything like that. I'm trying to remember if Jade has a tie into Atlanta or anything like that. But it's still, you get them over, you get them featured, you know. You're putting a little spice, a little pizzazz on it and everything.
Better than sexy fucking red, that's for sure.
Well, it's still, when they do somebody hosting a show or anything like that, it's not like they're out there for every segment. They maybe show up for the first thing and like somewhere in the middle of the show.
Absolutely. And like C Money said, you know, why not? You're really going to complain again about getting a little Jade and a little extra Jade and Bianca because they don't have a match? I'm good with it.
Right.
There's too many people in the kitchen besides the TV. Is everything doing downhill? I noticed that people quit buying figures at Walmart. Fair enough. Fair enough. Owens! 2-2-2. I still think Randy can't do another due to his back issues seem fine. He says he's in better shape than he's ever been. I'd give him the belt. He's over as fuck. I don't see what you see, Gilly. Do you see it?
Well, it's to me of still people think when you say doing a championship run and everything, it's doing it like under Vince and everything to where you're out there, you're working house shows.
Oh, wait a minute.
Both shows and everything. But 100%
the bloodline. Sorry, my guy. Things are
happening. Good adrenaline in my soul.
Oh. Tonga rolled into the ring. Poor Tonga. Oh, Tonga about to get hit with an RKO.
Right. RKO. Oh, as he turns around and eats a super kick from Jacob. Jacob going flying.
Taking out Cody.
But no, 100% now.
Oh,
but the ref did. Somebody tossed in Cody. Jacob tossed in Cody and took out the ref.
That actually looked like oops.
Yeah. But it's how you keep the ref distracted as Jacob's just feeding KO super kicks like that poutine. 1, 2, 3.
And the bloodline gets the win.
And it's still, though, it's what we thought was going to happen and everything. So where the bloodline gets the win, they needed it. They very much, you know, especially going into this, they have to establish why they are who they are. Well, now, granted, you know, does this mean that they still get the win at Bad Blood?
I don't know. That's a good question. We still have another week to go before we figure that one out. But they need to win and they get a win. And again, if you're going to take on Cody and Roman as a bigger match than the match tonight, they have to get the dub. They can't lose.
Oh, yeah.
Two. But look. KO versus Cody. Sick of his shit. Randy playing Peacemaker. RKO. Oh, KO.
Oh, they're getting nose to nose.
Randy's going to hit him. No, not yet. We can't do it tonight.
Well, and even Solo's point and say, see, they're infighting. They're turning in. And Solo's out here like goddamn Baron Zemo. He's out there of just they'll turn on each other.
Waiting for Randy to jump in the air, bro. Yo, we're getting on
just out of nowhere, just hit an RKO on somebody. But KO's apologizing. We got to hug it out. Sorry, I was heated. It was the heat of the moment.
I like it. I just don't like. Again, I think this is one of those weird wrestling wrestling fan things of it's such a minute detail. Why? Like I don't like it. Why? What does it hurt? I don't get it. I don't understand that level of. I can't believe you're doing this. Like I don't like it. Like why? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck?
I could see it. Well, to me, the only guesstimation I could see is it brings back almost like flashbacks of when like Dwayne was host of WrestleMania. It was like one of the 30s and everything, to where it was like in every goddamn segment and everything. But that would be
Really?
about
We're
it.
that, like,
Oh, and well, and I know I'm trying to find a rationale and everything
really?
behind this, because to me, of everything lately that we've seen of somebody hosting it, has really, they pop out here, they pop out there, in between, like the most of, even like, remember when the New Day hosted Mania 33? I didn't think that was bad at all.
No. But again, like, I mean, and to his point, that's one of the big four. But we've seen hosts for NXT shows. I don't know why they did it. Does it add anything to the show for my money? Not really. But at the end of the day, who gives a fuck?
Does it play into anything with Naomi, the women's title match? Like, that's the thing, is could them being there play into something? Possibly. Could they be there and it becomes a match or what have you?
Maybe. As Lio Rush coming out to the ring, and the pilots are no longer pilots. They've gone thug. What the fuck happened? As, by the way, we're watching Rampage. Give us your ratings out of 10 on SmackDown. I'm happy to hear what you got tonight.
Right.
Nobody mad about seeing. Yeah, exactly, MDB. Like, again, you got to understand, from a marketing side, you can now put them on a poster and say, hey, if you haven't bought a ticket yet, you might get to see these two beautiful ladies. And people go, oh, maybe.
So is this B2K? Is this, bad boy? Are we having freak offs out here with this and everything?
No, Diddy.
Well, no, I've now got top riders. We got rid of the pilots, and now we got puffy jackets and everything. Right. Emphasis on puffy.
Right. No, Diddy. But again, Nick, a week ago, they were fucking pilots. And they had only been pilots for like 3 weeks. Now they're coming out as a fucking bad rap group. Like, what the fuck? They're like,
Tony Khan just heard about a week ago. War
games. Let's go. 9, says Eric Tate. Where's Roman at? Roman's chilling. Exactly, Nick. That's a lot of Cody puts in a lot of time. That's for you. I have no idea.
Are you how? Oh, no, that's not me. Bum, with the B2K and everything like that. With them coming out of, don't be food.
Right?
Yeah.
This Omarion's just dancing for no fucking reason.
Right. Yeah. No, and I ain't doing no Cody Rhodes. Like you said earlier, you got to incorporate the beard and everything. Work around. I can wear a mask. I can't do the blonde hair. I'm not going to look like Homelander.
Made it through the Burger King just fine. We're happy to hear that, Anthony. Rest in peace, ref. At least his ankle looked rolled on. As Malachi Black has to wrestle Lio Rush. Oh my God.
Honestly, if this was like House of Glory, Wrestling Revolver, this would probably be good. Like, I still hope that this in-ring match-wise will be good.
He wasn't there because he was in Florida. That's interesting. Owens is not going to be happy with Cody. He's not. I like that they're selling us on it. Cody trying to get the glory playing hero again because they lost. But I like this. I like this weird, like, again, who is going to be the one that sticks the knife in the back? And right now, like you said, and I agree with you, they're leaning so heavy KO. I think the next time that situation plays out, it's an RKO from nowhere, and we've been dying for it.
That's the thing, is at this point you've tipped your hand so far forward of you're bluffing so much on this way. You've got to have this at this point, because if you were actually had this, you would have pulled the trigger by now. You would have done something. And if they are still doing it and it's a super slow play, good on them, because it's still fantastic. This would be the first thing Cody's really had something outside the bloodline to sink his teeth into, to really you can get invested with, to where it might seem like Cody might not retain.
One of the best moves ever. I'm not sure which move that was. 8 out of 10, 6 out of maybe 6. That's a little bit low. Tony Hayes, I watched it back and was a kid. I remember enjoying it. 8 out of 10. KO was so close to heel mode. I like it. I like this. Then he hugged him out. 8 out of 10. I like the planted seeds at the end. Great storytelling from that standpoint. 7.5 from Vance. It's a small, but it is what it is. I'm not furious about it. It's just my opinion. You're allowed to have your opinion. I just think it like don't sweat the fucking little things.
Don't sweat the petty things and don't pet the sweaty things.
Right?
To quote the late great George Carlin.
Mm-hmm. Like I know, like fuck, it's so minute. I don't care who it usually just makes it funny backstage hijinks or moves the storyline along. Fact. Hashtag free race.
Free FedEx is pending. Jesus.
I like it. HBO's kickoff Rampage. What? House of Black. I read HBO. Yeah. Wow. Blurred Vision. 6 out of 10 from Dale. Okay. Malachi Black. 7. 8 from Denisha. 9.5 is too high. Great SmackDown. I agree, Misfit. It was a solid SmackDown. Great-ish. There was a lot of good stuff that happened, especially heading towards Bad Blood. No Trish. Some people different matches. 6.5. I think.
How did you feel though? Because I saw the caption of it and everything. I didn't notice it when they were doing the documentary. They actually showed Trish's real name of like Patricia, whatever Greek name that followed it and everything.
Greek as fuck.
Right. I was just surprised the hell out of me. It was the first time I saw it because everybody's instantly like with Bart Simpson or as they say in Latin, Patricia Trishana or something.
Mm-hmm. Because she was a Canadian model. And had kind of made herself kind of known, and she was on like PSN and stuff. I knew her as Patricia, like first. And then she went to the WWE, and I was like, I kind of know that girl. Like she was sunshine, like she was a Canadian model that kind of made it big. So kind of like
just a fucking glass and going PAT, just spelling it out.
Right. Evening guys, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Jade and Bianca are Nubian gods.
As we cut to the Righteous backstage during this match, by the way.
I tuned out of SmackDown, obviously, at a certain point. I wouldn't give it a rating. Would be fair sense. I didn't watch the remainder. Anthony, you missed it. Naomi
gives it an Uno reverse card out of 10.
Right. Sings touched by Omarion. Facts. Let's go. 9 out of 10. Cody going to convince the 3 to join War Games. I hope not, Misfit. I hope not. 6 out of 10. SM is always a little worse than Raw. I don't. Sometimes. It's been back and forth. Michael, 6 is low for me. I liked it better than 6. I'm not saying your 6 is wrong. I'm saying it's not my
6 is low. To say it's consistently worse than Raw, you can contest that. To talk about the whole 3 hours, I still don't think it's going 3 hours. But that's
is. It's officially going to get another hour.
Officially going. Because I have not seen anything saying that.
Yeah, no, it's getting when Raw goes to Netflix, SmackDown will get a bonus hour from USA. So that's the story. 9 out of 10.
That doesn't line up with the time frame that I'd seen. I'd have to look into it more. I still think it's interesting with like with Raw staying on USA, they trimmed an hour off of it. So why are you going to turn around and give SmackDown an extra hour?
Monday's Friday. They're not up against it on Monday. Again,
but you're not getting late people. You're not getting that demo at 10, 11 o'clock at night. I feel that's even a bit of what the issue Rampage deals with.
But I'm telling you what's happening. It's not just
fair enough.
It's happening. It's a thing. Like I don't love it. I didn't believe it, but it's a thing. 7 out of 10. Shane Taylor
free Ricky Starks.
Free Ricky Starks. I like that one too. As by the way, we're in Rampage right now. I think Buddy's getting Malachi's choking Action Andrade or whatever the fuck.
Action Andretti, yes.
I think tonight for me was like a 7.5, 8. I'll go 8.
I'm with you there. I can see 7.5. I was in that 7-ish range and everything like that. Like we did have some stuff really bigged up and everything. Maybe I kind of went off track with the Piper and the mission match and everything. But
I like that match.
Well, it wasn't a bad match, but I'm saying as compared to like everything else, like you started off really hot, and I think you ended really hot. So still, it's up there, like a 7.5. I'm still with maybe 7.75.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good show. I really enjoyed it. It went fast. The main event was fun, building for blood and bad blood, blood and guts. But yeah, I think there was a lot of good storytelling within the show. I like the animosity between all the baby faces. I really like where it's heading. So yeah, for my money, kind of in that range. I think KJ might just have to accept the OG bloodline stuff isn't happening. Time will tell. I'm only guessing, Misfit, as much as you're only guessing. I do believe that this is going to lead to Samoan warfare. I don't think I'm alone in that.
No, I was gonna say I was out here throwing up my hands of like I think we both all been like everybody on the channel 100% has been saying that. Like that to me has been the overall consensus of that's what we're setting up. We've literally I've constantly even made the joke of it's the MCU, it's the SCU, of it's the Samoan Cinematic Universe out here. And if you're gonna have, Solo Sokoa Civil War, you have to have Iron Man to build this up, and that's I think where we're setting up right now. We're setting up the tension of Roman really gets conflicted, and now we've got to start assembling the Avengers here.
Well, and you think about it, you have those scenes on the way to that build where it's like Iron Man's in trouble or Captain America's in trouble, and someone's going to help him. Someone's going to help him. Oh, nobody helped him. He got his ass whooped. Oh no, the bad guy got over. Now he's got our regroup, and now we got to go back at it. Who's going to help me? Like, there is that level of building. I don't think it's going to be Cody, KO, Randy, and Roman against the bloodline. To me, that doesn't compute. That doesn't link up.
And well, and even what they've shown and what they've managed to do already with all of this, like the math ain't mathin'. If we've got Heyman involved and Jeremy Borash and etc. involved in them talking at Georgia Tech, as we again cut back to the Righteous backstage, which I still wish so much.
It's so good.
WWE and everything.
Dutchy's out there and he's got the whole crowd
going. Well, yeah, Vincent and
on Ring of Honor, and he's got the whole crowd going. More than the people you're using on Dynamite. He understands audience participation.
He's so good, and they're so lost, and they're so misused. Like
the Black beat up the little guys, by the way.
Fair enough. I mean, it makes sense. But I think it's almost understood at this point. We're going to the Samoan Civil War. I don't think we get towards Roman versus Cody till we're getting closer to a WrestleMania 42, if anything.
Yeah.
Like we don't get that at all in 2024 or barely, if anything, in 2025.
Oh, there's layers to this, right? Yeah. Like
we're saying the Roman Cody, we're not getting anywhere near there. Those two hits don't touch.
Yeah, you can't reopen. Like the reason, again, it's that whole thing of the reluctant alliance, but eventually it's a new story now. Cody told his story, and they're building Cody's post Bad Blood storyline right now in the ring. In the main event, as Anna Jay's on my screen, and good Lord, again, another woman that needs to be booked more than every other fucking Saraya. Well, give Anna Jay Soraya's money.
Well, give her at least the push, and I do at least like to see that she's out there at least getting used in Stardom fairly well. So when WWE comes calling in like 2 years' time, they'll have that footage that they can use on how they're bringing her in. Like, see money. What the actual fuck was that ending? The Crested Cloud. What the hell was that?
Right? Oh, it's fucking crazy, bro.
Anna Jay versus Robin Renegade, and
barn burner.
Right. So like I Harley Cameron might have at least sold me a little bit on this more than a Renegade twin. Like, honestly.
Well, that's what I mean. You get these weird storylines of like Jamie Hayter comes back, and I want Jamie Hayter to fight for the world title or be involved in the TBS title, and she's fucking around with Saraya. It's not getting her over. It's not helping her. Have you been excited about Hayter since she's returned?
No. Honestly, and I was upset even that they've sat there and they brought her back on the pre-show and everything, and still didn't make a big fucking hullabaloo or anything about it. You had no mention of, I believe, during all of All In about even her returning on the pre-show.
Right? Like, and you were one of the big advocates of like, where's Hater? Where's Hater?
I was skipping the haterade.
Yeah. And then she comes back and it's a wet fart. It's just gone.
Yeah, well, she's just doing her best, Yellow Submarine Becky Lynch cosplay.
Oh, absolutely. I'll be right back, sir.
Fair enough. As KJ's taking a pause for the cause, as you might have heard me some of that as KJ's taking a pause for the cause, as I'm getting an advertisement for pizza. This man sent me up to just be all hungry and everything. That's what he was. He's going to grab a slice here, 100%. But we are on commercial break right now, as we still are covering right now AW RAMPAGE. And funny how they don't advertise any sort of the Grand Slam stuff on RAMPAGE, but we did just watch SmackDown 100%. If you haven't given us your rating out of 10, let us know what you thought of Friday Night SmackDown tonight. And like I said, we're still watching Rampage. We're still back at it like a jackrabbit tomorrow for Collision, Monday Night Raw, Tuesday NXT, Wednesday Night Dynamite, etc., etc. Nobody covers more live wrestling. Nobody does what we do like we do. Absolutely. Nick, if you could, all the cats just aggressive in my face, respectfully. But yes, Nick, if you could only pick one former women's wrestler from the past to be women's champion in this generation division, who would you have? Fair enough. I mean, which company, which title, like, are they going on a long run? I mean, there's a whole long list of everything. With that, I mean, that's a really interesting question. I mean, somebody that instantly pops to mind would be like a Gail Kim back involved with the Knockouts division. But I know right now she's pretty much head of creative over there. Again, to me, I don't want to keep relying on nostalgia pops. I don't want to keep relying on, well, look who we brought back, what have you. Build up stars. That's really what it is at this point. Bull Nakano, I mean, if we're going that far, 100%, she's OG, triple OG in my book. I mean, I know KJ can wallop me over the head if I don't mention Trish showing up in WWE, but to me, it's a nice little fun conversation. Maybe we could dig into it more on like a members only stream or whatever. But to me right now, looking with the modern products of, I don't want Nostalgiacs coming back. Like that's what people got mad with Dwayne coming back and everything. Of build up your stars right now that you have. As we are in commercial break, yeah. Money had to say Trish. I knew I was gonna take a whooping if I didn't. Tony is no. Caitlin, I would love to see you women's champion in this era of WWE. That's an interesting show, honestly. That's a really surprise one. Actually, I'll say one that honestly I think could be plausible and could still work right now is AJ Lee. We've still talked about her potentially showing up and still potentially being involved, especially with the women's division in NXT. They're going into Chicago and everything like that. CM Punk's already involved. So AJ Lee might be the sleeper pick if I've, got to treat this like a draft. Sable, no. She didn't have talent out. She just had tits, respectfully. Pardon my language. She didn't have talent. She had enhancements. Victoria's not a bad shot at all. I ain't the lady to mess with. Whoop, whoop. That's not at all bad. Mildred Burke, what? Wendy Richter. As I've got Ruby, Rebel, Renegade, one of the Renegade twins right now taking on Anna Jay. Let me know who you're taking, folks, right now. And why is it Anna Jay? And more or less, what time is it? How long do you have her going? But breaking news, Karl Anthony Towns is getting traded to the Knicks. Like, I'm right here with 4-4 of Cat to the Knicks. I mean, I'm not a Knicks fan. I mean, I feel like I kind of should be from birth and everything. I mean, they got my name, but god damn, that's a hell of a move. I want to see what New York would have had to give up for that. For them to get Karl Anthony Towns, but that's a hell of a move. And interesting for Minnesota to do that with they got their center and then some. They got their fucking focal point out there. You sit there and pair Brunson with Cat, and god damn, he just keeps picking and pocketing and throwing it into the inside with that. Yeah, I want to see what they gave up and why would Minnesota do that move with Edwards. But Regenerates girl or the Newberry Howard. I guess I got to take your word for it, seeing how you called them the Regenerates girl, even though they're Renegades. Yeah. It's from Shams. He's the new Woj, so I'm inclined to believe him. Fair enough. Well, basketball talk has taken over Rampage. So somewhere out there, Dave Meltzer is cringing and saying, see, I told you they don't pay attention.
Right. You always know a Rampage is on because we're talking about basketball and food.
Well, we've got one of the Renegade twins right now taking on Anna Jay, and I even asked the chat. Now I even asked you respectfully. So let me know who you're taking and why is it Anna Jay, and how fast do you have her winning this match?
It should be pretty quick, right? Like Anna Jay's got a look. She's getting better at promos, more comfortable in front of the camera, and her in-ring seems to be getting a lot better. And
Anna Jay is what everybody thought Tay Mello would be. I'll say that.
That's good. I'll take that.
I think that's the way it's going, and I that's no disrespect towards Mrs. Guevara that somehow probably took a fucking botch job and a concussion when she got pregnant, even with that kid.
I would fire Mercedes Moné, take half her money, and give it to Anna Jay, and you would draw more attention and sell more tickets and more merch if you pushed Anna Jay the way you push Mercedes.
I won't say you do that because I mean now you got dead cap and everything. I'll say this: how you didn't want to re-sign Saraya, you don't re-sign Saraya. You put a bump in Anna Jay's, check and everything, and you book her how you were going to book a Mercedes, what have you.
Mm-hmm. As we got Ricochet dressed up like Swerve, Black Panther.
Wakanda forever, motherfucker.
See, I like this little package we're getting. I just wish they would have done this like last week instead of all this Don Callis stuff with Ospreay.
They have such a history of doing this, and they did it even before last week. They've done it with the Grand Slam with Nigel and Danielson. Oh, that was a match 15 years in the making. You gave us at most 2 weeks of a build on it. This is a match damn near almost equal to the fucking time of a build to an extent, or at least the caliber of a build. And instead, you're going to give us one little side-by-side sit down in a fucking hotel lobby with Renee Paquette to sit there and talk about and build up this match.
Well, we just talked about it with Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, and Cody. We don't know where the story's going, Nick, but like for the last 3 weeks or so, even going back to when was it when Randy was looking at the title and everybody pointed out
Backlash? Or it was around like Backlash and everything.
Right? So like for weeks, months, you're building this animosity, this potential, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And now it's coming to a bit of a fever pitch. We're getting closer and closer to that moment. And that's all you need to do is put people together and have them interact in a way that makes you start wondering, are they maybe they were friends at first. Like a Ricochet comes in and has nothing but love for Ospreay. Like, hey, do you remember we had those, and then there's this ego and this, this issue that builds.
We knew we were going to get Ricochet versus Ospreay. When Ricochet signed with AEW, when he showed up at All In, we knew eventually we were going to get that. But there's a reason they put the primary at the end of the buffet. Because you got to get through all the other courses and everything like that. And you fill up and you pick in this and you pick at that before you get to the fucking primary, before you get to the lobster tails and all of that shit. You save your top dollar draw and everything like that towards the end, towards you build up the anticipation of finally I'm going to get over there. I'm going to get a slice of that 100%. Not out of the gate. He's been out there. We're going from the Beast Mortos to Will Ospreay when it comes to Ricochet.
Right. And actually,
what are we doing?
And oddly enough, Nick, the Beast Mortos had a bigger holy shit moment in the build up to their match with Ricochet. At least he showed up and kicked the guy in the head. You know what I mean? Like, there's more animosity between fucking tourists.
I get you're gonna sell it of their friends. How will they coexist? And we're still keeping this friendly and everything. But that's not what I want to see. Like, unless you're gonna do this like 3-4 times and everything, you build me the anticipation with this. And again, this goes to say of there's nothing that Tony Khan did outside of having both of these people under contract at the same time that makes this match matter.
On a quick side note, did anybody know Angelico was still in the company?
A little bit. I feel like Ring of Honor might have been his recent stomping grounds, but yeah, he's out here taking on Takeshita.
Poor Takeshita. This guy.
Fair enough. I think I'm going to go take a Takeshita real quick.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're rolling on. We are in the Rampage portion of our show tonight. I'm hitting buttons for no reason, apparently. Let's get back to that. There we go. Mello LA Knight promo highlight of the show. Mello was good tonight. I really like the opening of the show. I like what the main event was. I like the story they're building, because they're not just telling the story of Cody and Roman against the Bloodline, but they're telling us about what's coming after that. What potentially could happen with Randy? What could potentially happen with KO? To me, there was a lot I liked about SmackDown tonight, and I thought it moved at a really good pace. And I mean, I thought Piper and Mission had a pretty good match. Overall, I thought there was a lot to kind of enjoy tonight. And I think somebody made a comment about nothing's changing with SmackDown on being USA, but I mean, I feel like everything's changed. The look, the feel, the vibe. Again, they're adding more and more. Roman just came back. I think it's all uphill or downhill, depending on how you look at it. Well, we go to picture on Rampage. Takeshita greater than Okada 100%, right? I'm with you. Takeshita is a worker. Takeshita being the Continental Champion and having all the TV time that Okada's getting, sign me up. Takeshita is another one of those guys that I just feel like if you booked him better and you gave us something with this guy, we would pay to see him. We would tune in to see him. If he was a prominent fixture on your show and not some peripheral guy, we would want that. Now I got to watch him beat up or go back and forth through a commercial break with Angelico. I don't get it. Good WWE this week. Absolutely. I agree with that. Takeshita should be running through this guy. Exactly, MDB. You guys missed my dick joke. Aw. Let me see. Was it funny? I'm actually going to go look for it, because if it's funny, it's worth it. All right, I tried. I didn't see it. Sorry, bud. You should have super chatted your dick joke. NXT changing their logo. I don't know. I know they've already kind of shown like a different visual side of things, like a bit of a different kind of like model of the coloring, but I haven't seen any change to the logo. But the presentation, as far as like a little more orange and blacky opposed to like the orange and white splatter kind of feel. So yeah, I mean, again, I think there's a bit of a different feel to it. Will they change the logo? I don't know. And the other question is, will Raw get a new logo when it goes to Netflix? Raw's been pretty much a standard. Like they made it 3D, they made it white, they made it red. There hasn't been much change. So I don't know. It's crazy. People was like, is Andrade going hero because LA Knight tonight? I think you meant heel. Oh, okay, there you go. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, but though and I think they did that, like they did it with Naomi tonight. They did it with KO. They did it with Randy. They did it with Andrade. Where again, is he going to turn heel? Maybe not. But even if he's a babyface, he has every right to be mad at another babyface for getting involved in his match. I know you want to beat up Carmelo, but you don't do it while I'm fighting him. And so you see this heated moment. Does that mean a heel turn? No. But again, we saw it in the past. Like, I mean, again, going old school, Randy, Hogan, Macho Man, Hogan Warrior, like the baby faces can have legitimate issues with each other and still stay baby face. But again, it all depends. Andrade's a good heel. But I think if Andrade's going to be a heel, he needs a heater. And I think that it would be really cool if it was him and Charlotte partnered together. And she did a lot of his talking, and they kind of acted like the king and queen of WWE. And they just kind of had this arrogance about them. I think that could work. If you care about conflict sells. You're right. I mean, again, the exciting part of tonight about SmackDown, for me, in any show I watch, is always the question marks. Even if I'm watching a show that I don't really love, and it comes to the end, and I'm like, well, what happens next? Like, I will tune into an episode of a show that I'm not exactly in love with, but I need to know what's happening. You can't leave me on a cliffhanger. Question marks, cliffhangers, conflict, resolution, that's story. And you're right, Nick. I mean, if you want the fans to care, there's got to be some type of emotion. And I think that's where Tony lacks as a booker when he says things like no such thing as long-term storytelling. It's so much about the emotion you create in the fan base. Again, a match is a good match, but it's like watching. You guys ever watch a sports game and you're not invested in either team? You can enjoy the game, right? If it's a hockey game, baseball game, football game, you don't really give a fuck who wins, but you can be invested like, oh, this is good. Be nice back and forth, good game. But you're not really emotionally involved. So you kind of put that like by the next day, you've kind of forgot about it or whatever. You move on. But when you're emotionally invested in a game, when you're connected to the ups and downs, that is where you make money. Money is an emotion. You got to make people feel if you're going to reach in their pocket and spend money on your product. And I think that's what it is. And you can give me all the excuses about WNBA games and dog shows and whatever else, Vince McMahon documentaries. If I'm truly invested in your product, I will show up for your product no matter what's happening, right? Think about it. It's like if the guy next door has vitamins, I will walk by his house to get better vitamins at the next house. I know some of y'all feel me on that for sure. I would build Anna Jay to go after Maria May. I would too. She's marketable. What if Jerry Springer was we'd still get a lot of chair shots and a lot of really unsavory storylines, but T's and P's to the late Jerry Springer. I think Takeshita may be the most underused wrestler in AEW. Thoughts? Lisa, he's right up there. He is right up there. I'm trying to think of a couple other examples, but I mean, there's a long list. But as far as a guy with pure talent that really could give you something, and we've seen him have burners with Osprey and Fletcher and others, the guy can go. He is so underutilized and so lost in this weird, wonky, callous family nightmare. I mean, if he isn't the most underutilized, he's in the top 3-4. He's really close. All right. It's kind of how I feel about Deonna Purrazzo. Kind of how I feel about Thunder Rosa to an extent. Like, just there's so much talent there that you could use that people would go out of their way to see. Right. And that's where fans, I think I get in arguments with fans of like, well, just like the wrestling. Nah, but I know. I mean, you're giving me a fast fried steak and I can see the filet mignon. What are we doing? Give me the good cut. Blue Thunder Bomb. It's Takeshita. This match went about 8 minutes longer than it should have. I need emotional investment in my wrestling. Otherwise, I will watch something. 100%. That's everybody. That's everybody. And that doesn't go just for wrestling. That's sports. That's movies. That's music. That's everything. Think of your favorite songs ever. It's those songs that can make you feel something. Songs are good. We all know when a jam comes on and it's a good hype jam or whatever, oh yeah, I like that song. But it comes and goes, right? But when you are emotionally connect to a song, that sticks. That's on your fucking repeat list all the fucking time. Same thing with movies. How many times you go to the same movies because you connect to it, you feel something, whether you laugh, cry, scream, yell, it doesn't matter. If you connect, you connect. And that is, speaking of connecting.
I was going to say, sorry, I didn't mean to fully cut you off there, but I was going to say, when I was speaking of connecting, go ahead. You were talking about connecting.
But that's it. Like, I mean, whether it's, no matter what form, when you're dealing with entertainment, and that's what I think Tony's missing. This isn't just about pro wrestling or, real wrestling. That's bullshit. And we saw it in the Vince documentary where like Triple H talked about it. If Bruce Pritchard can make me go, well, at least he knows more than Tony. I mean, to me, it's all about that emotion, Nick. And I just said it as you were coming back. Our favorite shit ever elicits some type of emotional response.
100. Well, we even talked about it when we were talking about part 2 and everything like that, of even hearing Trish talk about to where, yeah, I know everybody got worked up about me, barking on all fours and everything like that, but that's what we wanted you to get. We wanted you to feel that emotion. The biggest question, everything, like as you clicked on it right there, is, why do I tune in next week? Yeah. That's great that you got me to sell on this one match and everything, but you still got to sell the next week. You still got to sell the next show. You still got to continue, and the beat goes on. But this is still a 365-day business. You are constantly selling entertainment. You are still constantly, you build to one moment to still sell to the next.
100%, my guy. And I mean, here's a perfect example. I was scrolling through Twitter today, and I just hit the clip of when you're not feeling so oozy, and I had to retweet it.
Right.
I watched it 3 times, and it was like the first time I saw it. I fucking laughed like a loser all 3 times I watched it. It's still funny. It's still good. And that is the difference between entertaining your audience and giving them a reason to buy in and just doing stuff. And I mean, like I said, 3 years removed now from the Uzi moment, still plays.
Right. Well, and I do with 4-4, I'll skip the line here a little bit with saying this of preference is the thing, my man. What may not work for you may work for someone else. But at this point, it's clearly not working for a lot of other people. Like, yeah, but you can say it may be a selective thing, but when market shows and everything and goes along with it, maybe it still might be a thing for you. Trust me, we still, like, I was still pitching for Mina Shirakawa. Christ, what's her name there from GCW and everything, where she was taking on Alex Lone for the ultra violent death match and everything. And I thought that was one of the best matches of 2023 and everything. But that's very much a me thing. That's death match wrestling is still very much, still has its niche audience.
Yeah.
And just because that gets over with me doesn't mean that I fully anticipate that that's going to get over with everybody, or may not know that there might be a flaw there or anything like that.
Yeah, and again,
that's where it goes. Sorry, I just remember the name. That's all.
But yeah, back to my point though. I mean, and I appreciate your viewpoint, 444. But what I'm talking about, as far as eliciting emotional response, that's universal. That's not just a me thing. So the problem with the product is, yeah, there might be, a pocket of people that connect some way to this particular product. And that doesn't mean they're wrong. They like it. That's fair. Like I said, you and I watch death matches and we connect to it. We enjoy it. We find the good in it. But when the vast majority, and you're trying to be a national brand and you're trying to grow your product, you have to find a way to build that audience. And if you're not emotionally connecting to that audience and finding ways for the audience to participate and feel involved, then you watch your numbers go down. And again, you might love it, but you are now falling into a very small niche pocket of people that are tuning in.
Well, even if you are still, like, we still want to be the counterculture and everything like that. Like, Christ, at this point, we've even talked about it of we're the wrestling utopia. There's goddamn half a dozen wrestling channels out there that sit there. And if you don't agree with their take of you and everything, they'll turn around and block you. They'll tell you to go piss off and everything else like that. We'd rather have the discussion and have the back and forth, and even between us. But if you're going to do that, you still have to acknowledge of what's going on, the temperature in the room and everything. You still have to be aware versus AEW's also at times had the issue of even their fans within their fans fight each other.
Yeah.
Like they've gotten into where even they can't get along.
Yeah.
You both like the same product and still can't agree.
Yeah. But to your point, your example about the deathmatch stuff, Nick, I mean,
Right.
we've watched death matches where it was just two people and they go back and forth, and there's a whole bunch of shit. And we're like, that was really good. That was entertaining. I enjoyed it. But then you see Cologne versus Yamashita tell a story, and it's about this woman that's trying to win this tournament. She's not going to back down, but she's the underdog. Now we're talking about a year and a half later. That's the difference between what your typical just here you go, here it is. And like I said before, it's like when you're not invested in the teams playing, you can enjoy the game. I'm not saying it's a bad game, but you don't really hold it the same way. But when the Bills are going, you remember.
Well, 100%. Honestly, I wish I could have come back closer to when you even said that, because I heard you bring that up. And I was like, I literally have a foam brick that somebody gave me. So when I'm throwing the fucking remote and everything, I can throw that instead and not just break technology and everything. But I know like MDB and one or two other people want to said it too, of you'll go back and watch more of a game. That's to have an investment to and everything. Christ, you even still do it in wrestling? Like how many times I've gone back and sat there and watched, Royal Rumble 2000, to where you've got Mick Foley and Cactus Jack in a Triple H and Cactus Jack in a street fight. You got the Dudleys and the Hardys, and you got Jeff doing the swanton off the walkway and everything like that.
Yeah.
When you get emotionally involved in it, that shit lingers. Versus when it's a good match. Christ, we do the mid-year, but we do the midlife crisis awards and everything like that, and we still do the Wrestling for Life awards, and it's still, you have to almost struggle to remember of like what was all the 5-star matches and everything that was mentioned and everything. What was the super high moments? You get more focused on what emotionally pulled you in.
100%. And I mean, again, I actually think that MXM and the Acclaimed are more interesting than the world tag titles and the world champs and whoever they're fighting. Like that was
the only thing you've made the Acclaimed somehow interesting with this. Right. I feel.
Look at Tony, this horrible shoot me. But again, you look at so Mick Foley, Cactus Jack was around for years. He's just a mid-card guy that takes big bumps. But when he sat down with JR and told the life story of Mick Foley, that's when he became a superstar. And that is what you need in wrestling. You need that story. And that's the difference. He could have been just taking bumps for the rest of his life like some of these guys are. But when you find a reason for people to invest in you, that's next level. That's storytelling. That's getting over.
That's become much more frequent in WWE. I'll say when it comes to AEW, they'll have something like that and they'll almost burn through it far too fast. Like you don't have enough long-term vision or a long enough plan or whatever the issue may be, to where like that wasn't instantly all right, and then next week Mick Foley's out there facing for the world title. That was what just set him on the path. Like you still got Mick Foley taking on The Rock. You still got Mick Foley going through Hell in a Cell and everything. Yeah. And again, that's still a 1 in 1,000 situation. But if you can have a 1 in 1,000 and you got 1,000 people on your roster, I think you can at least find maybe 2 or 3 or something. You can at least get part of the way there.
Yeah. And again, I'm not saying like for 444 out there, if you can still hear me, I'm not saying don't watch it because it's all garbage. It's not the case. I watch it every single week with you guys. Nick joins me a lot on those Wednesdays. And it's just my desire because I see the potential. Because I think that if you had a good writer, fuck, me and you kind of spitball and brainstorm some really good ideas.
Right.
If you just found ways to take what you're already doing, you take an Osprey, you take a Ricochet, you take a Danielson, you take a Nigel, and build it with some story. All I'm hoping for as a fan is amplify what I love. And I feel in the beginning, you had Dusty and Cody, you had Kenny and Moxley, you had Hangman and Kenny. You had these stories that I was really interested in, to the point where I was like, I'm going to go fucking make a fucking Instagram and start going on social media to tell Jim Cornette to go fuck himself. Now, people think I'm a fucking spawn of the guy.
Well, and yeah, you've gone, and we talked about this earlier, and even with the whole adding injury times and everything of has AEW shifted so far away from being the alternative that
Mhm.
it's become more of a carbon copy of what it was supposed to be against. Because
Yeah.
Christ, you even mentioned you were a fan. This whole channel started literally because you were just like, well, to hell with Cornette. I'm a fan of AEW. I'm going to sit there and voice my opinion. Christ, they sat there and won every power ranking for months on end for almost the whole goddamn first year of
Yeah.
this channel and everything.
Yeah.
I'm a scarf carrying member of the devil worshippers of the Maxwell Jacob Friedman fan club and everything. And now
Yeah.
I apparently got to get a set of golf clubs, but it's now become so much of just hot shotting of it's become more and more WCW than ever before. Like it's so funny of I've been saying that for how long, and now to see more and more people say that, it's like it's unfortunate because they set the precedent. They very much we don't get the WWE we have now if it wasn't for an AW existing. And
Yeah.
so we 100% want them to still be in business. We want them to
I want them to do
succeed.
good.
But it's you see the flaws. Like it's like seeing a fucking beater car show up. And I can tell you, well, that tire's flat. Well, you got rust here and everything. And they're out there, still acting like it's, a prime time Chevrolet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I think for me, it's like, as here comes Taya Valkyrie, one of my faves. See, these are the women like Willow's fighting Taya. If this was on Wednesday, it would have improved the show. Like, ah, help me.
But
They're so good.
and when's the last time outside of this you've seen really Taya featured or anything like that? Like
No.
this is
Mhm.
you have the potential to where you could have so many people going at Mariah May, and we've seen that though across multiple things within WWE of to where multiple people are chasing multiple people. And
Mhm.
yet WWE or AW, sorry, has to do this singularity storytelling of
Again, like,
you have to be involved with this one person.
well, they get messy, right? Like we saw it this week. Willow comes out. Like we knew that Mina had a relationship with Mariah, which seemed like the natural transition. Tony goes away. If you want to keep people excited about Mariah May, Mina is the next story. But then Willow comes out, and you're like, well, wait, I'm a little confused at how we're doing this. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like if I was given this roster and a pen and paper, I could make a better show. That's what I want. I don't want to feel that way about. I want to be entertained. I don't
This
want to.
roster, respectfully, I know we've poo-pooed it. This roster should compete in the discussion of best roster, women's roster in professional wrestling right now with TNA, with NXT, what have you. But we
Yeah.
know for a fact the way that it's presented, it's like -5 stars already out of the gate here.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, again, and if you push the wrong people, which I think that's ultimately the biggest problem, is you will pour money into Mercedes and book the shit out of her, draw no money, entertain nobody, and then you'll bury Taya Valkyrie and Willow on Rampage, who put on an actually quality match.
Right, right,
Uh,
right.
would you say it is people like Will Washington? Here's the thing about Will Washington. He was just a chat room guy. Like he's nobody. Like again, he's nobody. He's another yes, a guy that will say yes, Tony. Okay, Tony. He's an again like there's what extensive wrestling. What did he really bring to the table that helps his company? Nothing. And as long as people pull strings, it doesn't matter who's there.
I feel like I need to be like Ultron out here of there are no strings on
Ha.
me and everything. But it's to me, it's on either side of this of too many people that do what we do that are in the wrestling business, but were never an actual. Well, I think Will was an actual wrestler, so I'll give him pass on
Was
that.
Will a
But
wrestler?
I
No.
don't. No, I'm thinking of Caprice.
Caprice, yes, I like Caprice.
Fair enough. But I'm saying still, there's so many people like you can even see it. I'll say this respectfully with Fightful, with SRS, with Meltzer 100% that get so involved and get so caught up in oh, well, I got an acknowledgement for here, or I got an acknowledgement for this wrestler, what have you, and everything.
Yeah.
That shifts the narrative and everything of they get more
Mhm.
caught up in being a fan.
Here's my best example. You have Eric Riccaboni on your roster.
Ian,
Ian, did I say Eric? Yeah. Yeah, Aaron,
yes.
Ian. Oh my God. You have Caprice, but I gotta listen to
Mhm.
Tony fucking Schiavone and Excalibur every week. That to me is the little things that are driving me nuts. Of I know you have better. I know there's better talent. You have JR and Nigel, yet I gotta listen to Excalibur every week. That's a perfect example of what's holding the company back. Is there's better than Excalibur in your building, and you don't use them instead, right? Like, dude, if again, it's like having the beater in your driveway, and right next to it is your brand new fucking sports car, and you're still fucking, getting a boost from your neighbor to get the beater out of the fucking driveway and not driving the brand new car. I don't get it.
100% with that. The commentary team just as a whole needs a shakeup. Of the commentary
Exactly.
team is a detriment more than anything. Of
Yeah.
that sends people away from the product. Um, but just the blind loyalty of on either side of to be able to not say anything negative about what might be presented to me
Mhm.
is the ultimate issue, and it's
No.
Christ, you've seen it now. You've seen it before with a whole documentary about wrestling promoters that surround themselves with a bunch of glad-handed yes men. And I feel like we're starting to see the recreation of that.
Yeah, like how good did it go for Vince when everyone around him was too afraid to say no? We got shit product after shit product after shit product. You ran off your audience. You had record low ticket sales. Merch sales went down. Oh my God. Deja fucking vu.
You need someone, though, that is respected enough and will not face repercussions enough that can sit there and say, there's an issue here. And maybe that's
Yeah.
Kenny with diverticulitis, because he seemed to, honestly, for a bit of it, even with the CM Punk situation, have the most level head about himself.
Yeah. I agree with that. I totally understand what you're saying, but you can't generalize individual preference respectfully. Once again, what may work for one may not work for the another. That's just facts. I agree with that. Different strokes for different folks, my guy. I completely agree with you. And again, me and Nick fight all the time. I like certain things, he doesn't like them. So we
Right.
debate that out. But I think ultimately you can't ignore facts and figures. So you might really like something, but if you're one of a few, you can't keep the company alive as like one of 12 fans. Like there is an accountability to what you're trying to accomplish. And I think that's where we might disconnect a little here is I want to see the company grow, and it's not growing, it's retracting. So that's where I'm like, yes, individual preference matters, but you're trying to, then be a small indie show, go on an indie tour. But if you want to be a nationally branded thing, then we're an international company and everybody loves us. You got to be real about your analytics. You got to be real about the fan base.
Preference matters 100%. There's nothing wrong ever with being an alternative or anything like that. Christ, we even talked about how we're the alternative to a lot of other people and
Yeah.
everything, but still 100%. But if the numbers continue to be in a downward trend,
Mm-hmm.
then it's not just
Mm-hmm.
anything, of a one-off of, oh, they hate us or anything like that, or, oh, it's, because KJ and Nick don't like us. So all of a sudden we go from
No.
being at almost 1 million
Yeah.
in ratings and everything like that to now where it's a big pop. It's a huge moment when we crack 700. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing. The downward trends are
Yeah.
not done by one or two fans. They're done by large masses of fans.
Yeah. And if you want to flip it on the other side, Nick, we'll put it this way. The WWE right now is having a lot of success, a lot of sellouts, a lot of good news for the WWE. And that's just being like completely stepping back, no feelings,
Mhm.
going just based on analytics, you're doing well. But there's stuff that you and I don't like, and we've argued about it, right? Like we put up like I get mad at Chase U, you get mad at Wendy Chu. I don't, I was pushing for Damien. You didn't really love Damien. Like that is where the preference matters. But within our individual preference, the fan base as a whole is thriving. And that's where, yeah, you can have what you like, but then you end up in a gymnasium with 50 people. Like, it's no different than like everybody loved ECW. Like, that was a hardcore audience, but they never found a way to grow that audience to the point where it went away.
We have, like, when it's, well, do you want Punk or do you want Drew? That's more of a nuanced argument to an extent versus literally maybe you should book some shit better or anything, to where you're not like 3,000 seat people in a 15,000 seat arena. Like, that's not just a few fans that didn't want to go or anything. But that's the masses speaking to you, and that's turning a blind eye and a deaf ear towards that. Like, that's calling, even if it's a niche thing or anything. We'll still, I know there's GCW shows that can do more than that. I know that there's a TNA that at least they can still sell the same amount, but they'll do it in a 4,000 seat arena when they sell 2,000 seats and what have you, so it feels much more bigger and feels much more impactful and everything. Of it's being blissfully ignorant to everything around you. Like, there's a lot of signs saying, not saying fully just stop what you're doing, just change it up, just change your method, change your MO, your way of attacking.
And on a quick side note, this is a fucking great match. This is one of the
I'm
best
not surprised. I feel bad that we've been talking about all of this during Willow and Taya. Sorry.
This is one of the best matches AEW gave me this week. That's fucked. They are good.
It's Willow's a 100% a talent, and so is Taya. And I feel bad that Taya's not used. Like, Taya should have never left TNA.
They even botched her introduction. Yeah, Will Washington's just an internet guy. He's just a chat room guy. So, he liked his takes. I could, with my hands tied behind my back, outright Will Washington. His takes are fucking awful. He doesn't know nothing from nothing. Again, Tony Khan, Will Washington, and guys like that had as much wrestling on their resume as you and I did when we started this channel. Like, we were just guys, but they are no more experienced than us. Oh, well, I mean, I don't have a billionaire daddy, but there was no wrestling on the resume. And here they are. Will Washington, again, like he says, like, a lot of the takes are bad, and that's what happens. You bring in people to create that side. Oh, yeah, Jericho Learning Tree is awesome. I totally love it. Yeah, fuck. Here we go.
But it's not even being able to, and again, that's why even still, like, having, like, you clicked on 4-4 and everything like that. Or we've got Tony, we've got everybody still. Boston. I know me and Boston have had it out. We had it out on my birthday, and everything. But it's so being able to have that discourse, like, even between you and I, we've had goddamn screaming matches on stream and everything like that. And still, at the end of the day, of like, all right, fine, dap it up and cool. We move along. We agree to disagree, what have you. I mean, we're not out here like Vince and Shane of, give me the knife, stab me.
I mean, sometimes it might be, but it's good we're apart.
That's off screen. That's off screen. 100%. That's off there.
Some days I'm pretty sure if you could reach through the camera.
But I feel likewise 100%. Well, and it's like with 4-4 saying, can we agree that WWE is the current flavor of the year at the moment?
No.
But goddamn it, they made themselves that. Like, you could, even if you want to call it the flavor of the year, they fucking made themselves of that. Like, cool. Like, so what? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, calling them the flavor of the year is a bit narrow-minded in the sense of it was like it was a 40-year company that went through some dry spots, but now they're on a hot run. And if they can continue it, I mean, I would almost say that AEW was more of the flavor of the year when they kicked off, and then the flavor wore off. Now you're just chewing stale bubblegum and it's hurting your jaw. Like, I mean, calling WWE flavor of the year seems a little bit dismissive of
AEW was the zebra stripe gum of pro wrestling, as we get a 3 count as Willow straps down, takes the one, or gets the 1, 2, 3 on tail.
What a good match.
100%. And again, like I said, I feel robbed of it because we were having the discourse that we did and everything we're in, and it's still a valid discussion. But to me, saying WWE's the flavor of the month, no, they've built themselves that way. That they've just reclaimed the throne at this point. That might sound biased as shit to say that, so I'll try and rephrase it. But it's one of those, they've established why they are the top dog.
Yeah, and I mean, again, can we have a momentum swing? Can Tony get it back and go the other way? 100%. We saw it because when Vince was when we were going through those late years of Vince, man, I never thought I would watch WWE again and like it. I never, like, if Vince was still booking in that company, you and I would be having this exact same conversation about the dub. Like, oh my God, this is fucking brutal. This is fucking terrible. But
well, yeah, Christ, towards the end of episode 5 and episode 6, it's like there ain't shit to talk about because it was kind of just trash ass product of that's when you really start looking at how much of a sex pest Vince was.
I remember sitting on these streams just like, what the fuck are you doing? Why is this 50-50 booking? Why are you burying all the NXT talent? Why is Karrion Kross wearing a skirt and a BDSM mask? The fuck are we doing?
Yeah, that's the thing is we've been there, but because it's now at this point it's become such a one-sided fight. At this point, this is, you know, Max Holloway, and he's out there just tease it up and just pop pop, pop pop. You know, he's 1-2 piece in this whole situation out here. Of, to me, you don't have so many people up in arms about Tony Khan and everything like that, and saying fight back and all of that if they actually thought he could fight back.
Yeah, and again, I think that, imagine if Tony said, I'm not going to book, and they bring in a couple guys, really good experienced guys, and all of a sudden, all that talent he has, like we just saw with Willow and Taya, but the Ospreys, and really start writing solid storylines, that would be my ideal. And I'll, like, for 444 and anybody else that's still listening to us, man, I wish that we showed up on Monday, Raw cooks. We show up on Tuesday, NXT cooks. We show up on Wednesday, AEW cooks. I wish that. I really wish that. But it hasn't been the case. This isn't about a flavoring of the month. This is literally about somebody had a really good run at it, and they have to find a way to utilize their funds and the talent they've bought to make a better show. That's it. And that's all that this comes down to. This isn't about bias or recency bias or anything like that. It's about regaining momentum that you once had.
My argument is there's ebbs and flows in pro wrestling. Every company, TNA, WWE, Ring of Honor, New Japan, have all had highs and lows at some point.
Absolutely.
That's 100% valid and everything like that. But very much they've stocked the chambers and everything like that. They've 100%. They've gone through their rebuilding phase, and they're the Kansas City Chiefs. I can't think of the hockey comparable right now. They're the New York Yankees of this and everything.
They go through
swing away.
All right. The Leafs have been in a 25-year rebuild. It's okay. I get it.
Well, and it's still, they're not without flaws. They're not without fault and everything like that. It is still, it's just sometimes when you cooking.
Well, again, we could be sitting here a year from now, 2 years from now, talking about, like, what happened to Triple H, man? He was cooking, he was booking all these good shows, things were great, but something fell off. What happened? Or Triple H is gone and now the new guy sucks. Like, Bruce took over. Oh, fuck, we're screwed.
Right.
It could happen. And that's all. In those moments, if Bruce starts booking again, like they did to 2.0 and gave Triple H a heart attack, which, by the way, I thought that should have been the documentary of, like, and then I gave my son a cardiac event.
Well, listen, this man couldn't even admit that Undertaker had a concussion, so he's not going to put over heart palpitations.
So, yeah, I completely agree with 444. I just think what's happening right now is the WWE's got a shit ton of momentum, and we have to critique what we see in front of us, and AEW is shitting a lot of beds, and we have to critique that as well. So if AEW picks it up, we'll be right here to cheer. I promise, my guy.
Well, it's going to call a spade and everything like that. Like, there was, even still with Grand Slam, there was stuff I liked and there was stuff I didn't like and everything.
Yeah.
It's not you completely hate the product of Christ. I'm still out here pitching for Eddie Kingston as world champion, as much as I know that that's a delusional thought, I feel, at this point. But
yeah,
we're going to have our own personal leans and everything like that. But no, sometimes you just got to call a spade a spade.
Right. That's funny, Mario. I mean, again, and could Tony turn it around? We pray that he turns it around, man. AEW reignited my love for pro wrestling to the point where we're doing this, what we do. I really hope he figures it out. I hope he listens to better people. I think the problem is Tony Khan's so nice, he can't tell guys like Jericho and the Bucks no. and it's hurting his product. And again, I said it while you were on your break. I will walk by my neighbor's house if the guy 3 doors down has better vitamins. And that's just the way it is.
Oh,
And right
100%. Yeah.
better vitamins.
And again, that's still 100% even doing what we do and everything like that. It's still 100% you try and put the best product out there and everything. And what separates us from other people is we're not hoping on the downfall of AEW. We're hoping for the betterment of AEW. I'd rather we get back to a Wednesday night wars, a Tuesday night wars, whatever night of the week wars and everything, then we get back to a monopoly on WWE's side, because that bred complacency versus competition.
Yeah. And again, what you guys see is not hatred or horrible thoughts. It's not a lot of like I'm wishing, like you said, wishing the demise. What you see from me pissing and moaning week in and week out lately is frustration as a fan who knows what they have. I see it. It's no different than you watch your sports team underachieve and yank fucking field goals to the right. You get mad.
You had to say to the right. You had to say to the right.
Right? But if you know your team could have done it, but they fucked up that one play, it hurts you. You get pissed off. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, but it's still funny to me of the fact that there has to be such a fucking exposition attached to any sort of criticism when it comes to AEW at this point. Like, and I get it and everything, but at the same time, that to me goes to show why AEW constantly is more second fiddle, is little brother and everything, because you have to have this goddamn 5-minute exposition to explain why you're critiquing it. If it's not I hate you, it's just I want you to succeed. Like I should be able to tell you when you're fucking up, and you acknowledge when you're fucking up.
It's the only wrestling company that I ever say something about online that I have to start with, I'm a fan of the company, but like I don't have to do that with TNA. I don't have to do that with anything. Sorry?
No, I was just saying prerequisites for a fucking for any sort of criticism.
But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to tap out. It's late on a Friday night. We appreciate everyone for being here, and still 50 people still hanging around. I love the chit chat and 444 and MDB and then Tony, and I know Big Dog's still in there. But the people that I love these conversations, and I love that people tune in to listen to these conversations.
AJ put the hat around. He's getting serious now.
It's the opposite.
He's out here going into bullpen.
No, it's the opposite, Big Dog. I'm shutting her down. The hat goes backwards because it's about to go into leisure time.
Closing time.
Yeah, we ain't got to go home, but we're getting the fuck out of here, folks. No, thank you all for being a part of this. We love doing it. Back tomorrow for Grand Slam, and we got so much more coming your way. The month is packed. There's so much fun stuff. When, like Nick said, we're trying to bring you new content, new shows, new excitement, and you might get to watch us melt our faces. So we're
spitting them hot takes. You might as well at least see us eat them hot wings.
Right, facts. That's it, my guy. I'm out. Click all our buttons.
Our shit is real. Our shit is raw. If you want to argue with it, do it in the comments. When you're talking about the wrestling, you better put that for life with it.
See you on the flip side. Come back tomorrow. Good night.